Okay, so things are intense. Someone just got straight up flattened and our boy Dokja is rushing forward. He finds the Supreme King, the villain, coughing on the floor, totally out of it, and honestly, this dude had it coming. The Supreme King tries to speak, but it's just a choked act. What's going on? He's clearly shocked. But wait, someone's stepping on the Supreme King's hand in boots, no less, and it's brutal, like seriously heavy. Everyone is looking on, totally stunned, as the person stomps harder and the Supreme King cries out. The crowd murmurs the Supreme King. No one can believe what's happening right now. We get a close-up of the stomper and it's Kim Dokja. No way he's moved so fast. Dokja glances over and it's clear he's locking eyes with someone, a tense moment for sure. He's saying you're here like he knew this was going to happen all along. Our boy is playing 4D chess. Dokja's got a piece of something in his hand and he looks determined. This is about to get good. A woman looks like Lee Sealhwa is demanding to know if anyone objects, and bro, the pressure is real. Dokja's stepping on the Supreme King's hand and it's not a gentle tap, trust me. Supreme King is sputtering, asking who the heck just stepped on him, and it's glorious. Dokja just keeps stepping and the Supreme King is straight up choking. No mercy from our boy. Someone yells for security, but it's too late. The room is filled with bodies hitting the floor. People are going down and it's a total massacre, but Dokja is moving like a blur. The glass is shattering everywhere, but Dokja is still pressing forward, completely unfazed. Back to the Supreme King and Dokja is still crushing his hand. I guess there aren't any guards, is all he says. Dokja's got this cold look in his eyes, and he's telling the Supreme King he knew he'd be there. Dokja's holding something in his hand, and it's clear he's about to unleash a whole new level of pain. Lee Sealhwa is losing it, crying about how Dokja is acting, but he just drops a bombshell. He's Yoongyuk's ally. Dokja's laying it all out. The Supreme King keeps threatening him about the contract, but secretly needs him. He announces the first member of his new team, and it's himself, straight up declaring his own importance. The Supreme King is furious, but Dokja just smirks, saying it's obvious he put himself on the list. Dokja's basically saying, what did you expect? And the Supreme King looks like he's about to explode. This dude is so calm while everyone else is panicking. It's kinda scary. He's playing a whole different game. The Supreme King tries to regain control, but Dokja's already several steps ahead, and honestly, it's beautiful. Dokja is explaining his plan, a new organization, and everyone's staring at him like he's lost his mind. He's casually eating while making these huge announcements, and the contrast is just chef's kiss. Dokja gives this super intense side eye, and you know whatever he's planning, it's gonna be epic. Okay, so Dokja announces the second member of his team, Yoo Young-hyuk, and everyone is losing it. The Supreme King's crew is straight up panicking, thinking Dokja's building a rival group, but Dokja's just smirking. Lee Jihai is begging for a spot, saying there are still 7 places open, but Dokja just ignores her. A pirate dude is all like, we're the strongest, and thinks the Supreme King will pick them, but Dokja has other plans. Dokja drops another bomb. Hyunseung Lee is the 4th member, and someone in the crowd is seriously shocked. This dude is losing his mind, questioning if he's next, but Dokja just keeps rolling with it. Dokja calls out Huiwen Jeong as the 5th member, and another person is completely blindsided. Someone else shouts me, and honestly the chaos is just building and building. It's amazing. Dokja is just casually eating while announcing his team, and it's the most power move I've ever seen. The Supreme King is fuming, but Dokja is totally unbothered, and this whole scene is just peak tension. Everyone's reeling from Dokja's team picks, total confusion and disbelief, bro. Yoo Young-hyuk is looking straight up smug, and someone is flinching hard at whatever's happening. Huiwen and Young-hyuk are walking with Dokja while the shocked people stare. The power dynamic is insane. Dokja starts talking again, and it's clear he's about to reveal something huge. The tension is building. He announces that he's saved the best for last, and it's a total mind game. Dokja starts munching on snacks and is dropping hints that he knows everything. This dude is playing chess. He's enjoying the reactions, and it's honestly kinda scary how much control he has. Dokja's got this intense stare, and he's totally reading everyone in the room. He takes another bite of a snack, and it's like a signal that something major is about to go down. Dokja looks away, and you just know he's thinking 10 steps ahead. Our boy is a mastermind. Okay, so everyone starts coughing, and it's super weird, like something's physically wrong with them. Someone spots a body slumped in a chair and it's chaos. Everyone's freaking out, asking what is that? Huiwon asks if Young Yok and this guy were friends, but it's a loaded question and the tension is thick. Someone questions if Dokja talked to Master last night, hinting that he might be on a hit list. No way. Dokja asks what they mean, and honestly, he's acting way too calm for someone whose friend is possibly dead. They reveal Master said he visited Dokja around 1 or 2 a.m., right before Dokja supposedly went to the underworld. Dokja's mind is racing, trying to remember what he was even doing that night, and he's clearly disturbed. He remembers being awake, but Young Yok never showed up. That's a major red flag, and he knows it. The screen cuts to black, the cliffhanger is brutal, and we're left hanging on every word. Okay, so Dokja and Sangha are getting super close, like lips about to touch close, but then someone interrupts. This guy, Yu Young Yok, is suddenly grinning like a maniac, and honestly, it's unsettling as heck. A message appears saying you have been captured, Yu Jung Hyuk. Wait, what? Our boy is in trouble. Someone asks if he saw what happened, and Dokja's face is a mask of suspicion. He's putting the pieces together. Dokja starts thinking and it hits him. Sangha was there, Young Yok was there, and now he's been targeted. It all connects. He remembers drinking with Sangha and Young Yok, but it wasn't a casual hangout. Young Yok was testing him. Dokja wonders if Young Yok saw him use his power, and this dude's got a plan. It's all coming together, but it's bad. Okay, so Dokja's telling everyone he's training, and this whole conversation is getting wild. Constellation, demonic judge of fire, is actually hyped to hear him say that, which is a choice. This dude, Young Yoyak, is straight up losing it over Dokja's statement, asking who he's even talking about. He's worried someone who should have his back is acting shady, and honestly, the tension is thick. He spirals, imagining what someone from an all-boys school would think if they saw this betrayal. It's a whole thing. Young Yoyak insists he's always been a man of self-restraint, super militaristic, even though he's civilian life. He thinks someone must have felt their camaraderie crumble because of whatever's happening, which is a bit dramatic. But then he really goes off, saying anyone would react strongly to something disrupting a chain of command. He's convinced this comrade was doing something because he was overstepped, and it's a lot to unpack. Young Yoyak is really fixated on this sense of betrayal. It's honestly kind of hilarious. Okay, so Young Yoyak is laying into someone, accusing them of chasing after, well, basically, affection. He's drawing a hard line. Anyone with lustful desires gets kicked off the team, no questions asked. Someone's clearly rattled, but Young Yoyak doubles down, saying they'll cause trouble. Harsh. Dokja's getting a message, and it seems someone remembers Young Yoyak saying all this back in the 3rd round. The group is deciding who to pick for the final team. Only 4 spots left since the Supreme King wants 6 people. There's only 4 of them left, so they assume it'll be easy, but then someone suggests they fight for the spots. No way, they're seriously suggesting a battle royale to decide who gets to stick around. Dokja's just standing there taking it all in. He knows what's up, but the others are clueless. This bald dude is totally egging them on like he's enjoying the chaos. Straight up villain vibes. But hold up, Dokja's checking his phone, and it seems like he anticipated this whole mess. Okay, so the injured monk is losing it, ranting about how strong Dokja has become, totally unexpected. The blonde dude, Young Yoyak, is all like, I thought we only had to worry about the Supreme King, and honestly, he's shook. Dokja just drops a bomb. The 10 they've chosen are just the starting members, and there's more coming. Savage. He says the second batch will be sent soon, and then casually adds they should have done this to begin with. This dude is ruthless. Dokja's staring at someone off-panel, and it's clearly the blonde dude, Yusung. He's got a plan, we know it. Specifically pointing out Yusung, calling him that child. What is going on? The blonde guy is looking super anxious, like he knows he's being singled out. It's a little satisfying, TBH. Dokja's got that signature smirk, and it's clear he's playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Yusung's face is all scrunched up. He's clearly regretting something, maybe all the drama he caused. But hold up, Dokja's just casually walking away, leaving everyone to stew. Our boy is a master manipulator. Dokja's got a whole crew gathered, prepping to move MS. Sangha's somewhere safe. It's a whole operation. But wait, someone's bleeding. A dark figure is clutching their side, looking seriously injured. This dude's got a weapon, a massive golden blade, and he's clearly not okay, but still trying to fight. Dokja's suddenly in the shadows, and honestly, it's a little creepy how quickly he disappears. He's lurking around a corner, and you can see blood dripping from his shoes. What the heck happened? No way, he's covered in blood, and it looks like a full-on struggle just went down. Dokja's face is so intense, he's definitely dealt with something brutal, and he's not happy. He's wiping blood off his chin, and it's clear he just took someone out and fast. However, he's acting like everything's normal, casually walking back toward the group like nothing happened. Straight up, this is terrifying. Our boy is a monster, and everyone else is clueless. Someone's talking to Dokja, saying he must have made tons of friends. Talk about a loaded statement. But hold up, a woman appears and she's greeting Dokja after a long time. This is getting interesting. Dokja's expression is stone cold, and you can see a tear forming, which is seriously messed up. The scene shifts, and now Dokja's facing a shadowy figure in the rain. It's a total mood shift. This cloaked figure is seriously intimidating, and they're just standing there, blocking the way. We get a close-up of the figure's face, and she's wearing this crazy mask, definitely not a friendly face. She's got a long coat and some green braids, but her eyes are piercing. This lady means business. Dokja's face is tight with anger, and honestly, he looks like he's about to explode. But the masked woman just stares back, and it's a straight-up standoff. The tension is unreal. Dokja's jaw is clenched, and you can see the rage building. Something big is about to go down. Dokja asks if it's been a long time, but the masked woman just smirks. She's playing it cool. The woman's face is right in his, and she's got this creepy smile. It's giving villain vibes. She's talking about how long it's been, but honestly, it feels like a threat, not a greeting. Dokja's expression doesn't change, but you can tell he's furious. This dude is a master of control. She's still smirking, and she leans in even closer, like she's enjoying his anger. Ugh, annoying. Dokja's hand is now fully on the broken mask, and he's about to snap. Something's about to go down. But she calmly asks if he's been well. She's totally toying with him, and it's infuriating. Dokja thought ignoring her would be the move, but he straight up needs her help with something big. He asks about her prison release and if she was in Seoul, but she's playing coy, just visiting someone, she says. Dokja presses her, asking how she got trapped in the Seoul dome, but she's not giving much. However, Dokja notices something's off. She's still wearing a prisoner's uniform, despite being released. This dude is suspicious, and Dokja's about to call her out on the obvious discrepancy. She's smirking, and honestly, it's super unsettling. This woman is hiding something. Dokja's eyes narrow, and you can feel the tension building. He's not buying her story one bit. She asks if he's been well, but it's clear she's just stalling. This is gonna be a long conversation. He wouldn't even be here, which is a massive claim, but kinda makes sense given the situation. He's ranting about how it's just third-rate garbage, but clearly it means the world to him. But here's the twist, he's not talking about the quality of the writing, but the fact he survived it. This dude is realizing he's living inside the novel, and it's hitting him hard, like existential crisis hard. And then get this, a cosmic being, a constellation demonic judge of fire, is watching him with pity. No way, pity. Our boy is about to show this constellation what he's made of. He's fixated on that book, the source of everything, and it's clear it's way more than just a story. However, it's not just a story to him, it's the reason he's alive, and that's messed up. He's laying it all out. If anyone still sees him as a child, or even his mom, he doubts it. He admits to thinking of them a little, but then BAM, lie detection level 1 activates. Sejong Lee confirms he's lying, and this dude's smug face is kinda terrifying, honestly. He brushes off the question, saying he's not there to talk about it, and Sejong is not buying it. Sejong can't tell if she's being played or if he's sincere, and bro is spiraling again. She drops a bomb. His father was a bad man, and it's clear this hits a nerve. He acknowledges it, but then warns she could do to him what his father did. He tries to justify it, saying sacrifices are sometimes needed for a better life. What a reach. She calls his logic nonsense, and it's a straight-up power move, shutting him down. But Sejong's not letting it go. She's saying when you, and it's clearly a threat. He's all smooth, commenting on her eloquence, but she sees right through it. This dude is playing games. Sejong calls him out, knowing he came for a reason, and demands to know what he wants. No games. He claims they both detect lies, trying to shut down the conversation, but she's not backing down at all. He straight up asks about inmate 406 and demands she hand her over. What is going on with this woman? Sejong wonders what they're up against, hinting she knows more than she lets on, and it's intense. She questions how he knew about supporting inmate 406, but he refuses to spill, claiming he can't tell. He accuses her of having a skill to find out information, and she's like, about me or not? The tension. She agrees to give him inmate 406, but with a but. You know that means trouble is brewing. He's standing over someone on a table, and Sejong is watching, and it's a super creepy scene. Sejong says she'll do it, but she's clearly making a deal with the devil, and it's a cliffhanger. He's losing it, straight up admitting Sejong is getting inside his head, pushing his buttons. But it's not just mental, his hand is clenched so tight, knuckles white, and he's visibly sweating. Sejong lays it all out. She knows he's trying to provoke a reaction, to see what she's hiding. He tries to play it cool, but a system message pops up. The fourth wall is shaking violently. No way. This dude is spiraling, muttering about how just a few words from her are throwing everything off. He's confessing. She reminds him of the reality he hates, and a new stigma ability activates, self-justification. He's full-on declaring his hatred, and it's a massive, dramatic reveal of his inner turmoil. Sejong asks if he understands, and honestly, this feels like a trap, a calculated move. She's got a wild look in her eyes, and we see her hand gripping something tightly. What is she planning? But Sejong is activating a stigma of her own, and it's a complete power play, setting up a huge confrontation. He's ranting about how time has passed, things can't go back, it's a total breakdown, bro. Sejong suddenly punches him, a hard, fast strike right to the face, and honestly, this dude had it coming. He's reeling, shocked by the attack, but she immediately apologizes, claiming she took too long. He's trying to recover, regaining composure, but she's just watching, and it's super unsettling. He's regaining his cool, straightening his coat, and a mysterious figure lurks in the background. What's their deal? He's sizing up Sejong, assessing her, and she's mirroring his intensity, a silent standoff. He's making demands, laying down rules. He thinks he's in control, but something feels off. Sejong doesn't respond, just stares him down, and the tension is thick. She's playing a long game. He tries to intimidate her, but she doesn't flinch, and it's clear she's not afraid of him at all. They're locked in a silent battle of wills, a power play unfolding, and the atmosphere is electric. He asks about her hangover, but she brushes it off, claiming she's fine. Classic denial, right? She drops a bomb, telling him she knows he carried her back and apologizing for being a nuisance again. He's all smooth, saying it's okay because she was only trying to look after him. Straight up sus. But his smile doesn't reach his eyes. This dude is hiding something, and it's a major red flag. Okay, so this dude, Kim Dokja, is straight up smirking, and it's unsettling to say the least. We find out it's actually his mom who wrote the novel. No way, that's a wild twist. She's sitting alone, looking kinda lost, and it's clear this whole situation hits her hard. Dokja recalls the relentless questioning, and it's clear the pressure was insane. He remembers how everyone just kept digging, wanting to know everything about the book and his mom. But here's the kicker, he remembers his mom being incredibly proud, even amidst all the chaos. Dokja remembers his classmates talking. Apparently, his mom sold her story, a confession of being a murderer for money. He sees a book titled Notes from Underground and learns the underground murderer thrived on violence in a broken home. Sound familiar? Dokja realizes everyone knew his mom's past and it was public knowledge, but that knowledge was bought and sold. He thinks about it, her story being known is one thing, but being traded for cash is a whole other level of messed up. Dokja's spiraling, picturing piles of cash, and it's clear he's feeling betrayed and disgusted by what his mom did. Suddenly, a woman, seemingly his mom, appears and quietly says, Dokja, it's super creepy. We get another flashback. Dokja remembers the reporters hounding them, desperate for details about the novel. His mom, though stressed, seemed oddly proud of the attention, which is wild considering the subject matter. Dokja remembers classmates whispering, but he blocked it out. However, the memories are flooding back now. He's looking at a mountain of cash, realizing his entire life was essentially a commodity, traded for money, and bro is not okay. Dokja straight up says this situation is a completely different story than he thought. He reveals the Constellations didn't give him any coins, meaning no help from the higher-ups. But more than ever before, this feels personal, like it's all hitting way too close to home. Dokja mutters this whole mess must just be another story for the Constellations to watch unfold. His mom steps forward and asks if he still thinks he should forgive her. Wow, the audacity. She's got these creepy claw-like gloves on and doesn't respond when he looks at her. Dokja lets out a hollow laugh, and honestly, it's terrifying. She asks if he thinks she's so good and then drops a bomb. How can something so dramatic happen in real life? Dokja's completely broken down, reliving all these memories of his mom and the scandal. But he's realizing this wasn't just about money, it was about turning his life into a spectacle. Dokja and Senga are holding hands and things are getting real intense, like a full-on kiss is about to happen. But wait, the fourth wall is literally shaking. The story is aware we're watching. No way. Someone shouts if they kissed again, and then another person asks K-kiss. The gossip is spreading fast. Everyone is staring at Senga, who is visibly blushing, and someone points it out to Dokja. Dokja, looking absolutely smug, asks if she must be blushing, and honestly, he's enjoying this. His expression is unreadable, and it's clear he's playing some kind of game. He's clearly baiting everyone, and Senga is trying to hide her face. It's a total mess. But this dude is straight up flaunting their closeness, and the reactions are priceless. Senga is mortified while someone else points out how flustered she looks. The teasing is relentless. Dokja's face is all-knowing, and it's like he's saying you have no idea what's coming. Creepy. Someone announces an old lady is looking for Dokja, and he immediately asks if anyone asked her who she wants. The old lady shows up and straight up demands to know what Dokja wants from a useless old hag talk about a mood. Turns out the old hag is actually a prisoner, number 406, and she's walking right toward them with a cane. Everyone's murmuring, clearly confused, but Dokja seems to know exactly what's going on. This dude is always one step ahead. They are at Regan Station, and the murmuring is getting louder as the group looks around nervously. A massive golden ship descends from the sky, and it's seriously intimidating, like biblical levels of epic. The ship unleashes a barrage of spear-like projectiles, and everyone's scrambling for cover, but it's chaos. Someone with an eye patch and a monk's robe is leading the charge, and a woman in elaborate clothing follows close behind. The ship lands, and it's even more imposing up close. It's like something out of a fantasy novel. Dokja's got this unreadable expression, and you just know he's bracing for whatever's about to happen. Golden ship is unleashing its power, and it's a full-on assault, spears of light everywhere. This dude with the eye patch and monk's robes is stepping forward, and he's radiating power. No way. The woman in fancy clothes is right behind him, and she's looking straight at Dokja. It's a standoff. Dokja and the monk are face to face, and it's tense, but Dokja's just unfazed, like he expected this. The monk casually asks if Dokja has been waiting, and our boy just drops, "So you've come cold." The monk is immediately annoyed and asks if Dokja is unhappy to see him. The shade is real. Dokja straight up tells him he doesn't need to participate, and honestly, I'm here for it. Monk and woman exchange glances, and you can tell they're not thrilled with Dokja's attitude. But Dokja isn't backing down, and he's staring right into the monk's eyes. This is getting good. The monk and the woman just stare back, and it's a battle of wills. Who's gonna crack first? Dokja drops the love bomb, and the monk is completely thrown. What is happening? They're standing with a group of people, and the monk's asking what's going on. It's a total mess. Someone wonders if the monk left Dokja out on purpose to protect him, but Dokja's already thinking ahead. The monk warns Dokja this could be his last chance, but our boy isn't scared. He's got a plan. This other dude with the smug look is giving Dokja the side eye. He's definitely suspicious. They're all walking, and the monk claims it's not a time for love, which is a weird flex, honestly. Dokja calls him out, asking if he's trying to hurt his feelings. The tension is so thick. Dokja is all like, "Don't forget," and the monk's face is stone cold. This is a power play. The monk is staring at Dokja, and the woman is right there, looking unamused, awkward. Dokja is trying to get a reaction, but the monk just won't bite. He's playing it cool. Dokja straight up calls the monk out, asking if he wants him dead or alive. Talk about blunt. Dokja remembers something and thanks the monk for reminding him. It's kinda creepy how calm he is. Everyone around them is freaking out, staring at Dokja and the monk. The tension is insane. The monk announces they can only enter the warp crystal in pairs, and everyone starts looking around nervously. Dokja declares he and Yuseum are Group 1, no hesitation, this dude takes charge. Yuseum looks shocked, but Dokja's already walking toward the crystal. He's playing 4D chess right now. Okay, so things are intense right now. Everyone's freaking out because apparently some extra people slipped into the scenario. The organizers are trying to play it cool, claiming it's a mistake, but they're straight up saying they need to cut participants to keep things fair. Dokja's crew is losing it, questioning what's happening, but then the mastermind steps in and everyone falls silent. This dude, the one in charge, has a seriously creepy smile. You know it's about to go down. Suddenly, the sky rips open like a massive tear in reality, and debris starts falling from above. No way. It's a full-on disaster with chunks of buildings raining down on the city and everyone scrambling for cover. The epicenter of the chaos is this blinding light, and people are just vanishing within it. It's terrifying. But hold up, the guy in charge is holding these ornate golden rings, and they're glowing with power. He reveals their protection symbols from the Embargo, a powerful organization, and honestly, it's a little too convenient. He's using them to target the extra participants, and it's a brutal elimination. Our boy Dokja has to figure this out fast. The guy in charge is inserting these symbols into the golden structure. It's like a key or something. While the structure is glowing brighter and brighter, pulsing with insane energy, it's kinda scary. The light explodes outward, washing over everything, and the debris just vanishes. Seriously. Dokja steps forward holding a similar symbol, and he's about to insert it into the structure as well. He clicks the symbol into place and a blue light flares up. It's a match, a connection is made. He's holding another symbol, this one apparently obtained after defeating the catastrophe of water. And then another from the catastrophe of ice. This dude is collecting these like Pokemon cards. Dokja inserts the final symbol and the golden structure is completely lit up. It's a full power-up. However, this isn't about protecting people, it's about something much bigger, something the guy in charge wants. The structure is now a massive beacon, and honestly, it feels like it's attracting something terrifying. The golden structure is now a swirling vortex of energy. It's like a portal is opening, no way. Everything is getting sucked into the light, and it's not just debris, it's people. They're vanishing. Dokja and the others are holding on tight, bracing against the pull, but it's a struggle, honestly. Vortex intensifies and a message pops up. The warp crystal has been activated. What does that even mean? The structure is fully charged, and a blinding blue light engulfs everything. It's insane. Dokja stands firm amidst the chaos, looking determined, like he knows exactly what's happening. The light fades slightly, revealing a swirling, chaotic space. It's like they're staring into another dimension. He's seeing shadows, dark figures swirling within the vortex. This isn't a rescue mission anymore. But wait, the guy in the white coat isn't surprised. He seems to be expecting this. That's creepy. Our boy Dokja just looks ahead and straight up, he's ready for whatever is coming through that portal. Okay, so the main scenario, an abandoned world, just starts and someone immediately wants out seriously. But hold up, Yuan's freaking out because something is falling from the sky, a weird, shadowy blob. Everyone's stunned, but Sanga's trying to keep it together, telling them there's a second part to this. Another dude, Hyunwoo, is oddly calm, seeing the scary guy is actually on their side now. What a twist. Dokja drops a bombshell. He's not worried about leaving Sanga and Huiwen behind because he knows what's up. He says they'll have another contest to decide things, but honestly, this feels like a trap. Dokja's got this whole situation figured out, bro, and he's ready to face whatever comes through that portal. However, it's not just about the portal. The abandoned world is actively trying to swallow them whole. Dokja declares he needs to take the old lady with them, and she's totally down, bro. It's kinda creepy. Suddenly, a massive portal opens, and it's not just a portal, it's swallowing everything around them. A golden figure flies into the portal, then a swirling blue vortex appears, and it's straight up apocalyptic. Sanga whispers to Dokja, telling him to warn the King of the Wanderers about Ildu Jian. This is getting intense. She adds that Ildu Jian might already know, and Dokja just nods, looking determined. No way. Dokja tells Sanga don't die, and she gives him this intense look like she's taking on the world for him. She nods back, a small smile playing on her lips, and honestly, they have serious chemistry. Someone is whistling and reaching out to Dokja, but his expression is unreadable. What's going on? We get a glimpse of Lee Jihai and Yujin looking worried, and the tension is building. I can feel it. Yujin and Lee Jihai look on with worry, while a man with black hair stares at them with a stern look. Okay, so this dude is straight up demanding someone press something. It's kinda urgent. It's revealed that he's forcing the old lady to activate the portal, and she doesn't seem thrilled. But then the portal roars to life, engulfing everything in blue energy. It's seriously intense. Dokja and Senga grab hands and brace themselves because this portal is about to take them somewhere else. They're pulled into the vortex and it's a total light show. Seriously, the art on this is amazing. We get a quick shot of the floor being ripped apart, then everything goes white like they've jumped dimensions. And bam, they land in a bizarre, overgrown place with massive, glowing leaves surrounding them. The old lady looks around and honestly, this place is creepy even by apocalypse standards. But wait, the light show isn't over. A huge, golden figure appears, then the vortex reopens. Dokja and Senga are pulled back into the swirling blue, and it looks like they're going even deeper. Dokja asks if Senga is alright, and she's clearly not doing great. She's actually throwing up. They realize they've been dropped smack dab in the middle of a dense, overgrown forest surrounded by trees. Senga points out the obvious. They're totally surrounded by trees, and it's kind of freaky. But hold up, the forest isn't empty. Something's rustling in the leaves, and it sounds big. Two pairs of glowing red eyes appear in the undergrowth, and they're attached to some seriously scary, tusked creatures. The creatures burst out of the bushes, and they're monstrous wolf-like things. No way this is good. The main scenario has begun. Abandoned world. Straight up, this is bad news. Dokja and Senga are completely caught off guard by these beasts, and things are about to get intense. The creatures lunge, and it looks like they are about to attack. Dokja's about to have a very bad day. However, Dokja's already anticipating this, and he's prepared to fight. Our boy knows this story. Dokja shouts Yuseum and straight up launches himself forward, dodging a swipe from one of the beasts. He jumps, dashes, and weaves through the thick undergrowth, moving so fast it's insane. Dokja lands hard, stepping on branches, and the forest floor shakes with the weight of a lot of monsters. Oh no, 7 steel wolves appear, and they are huge, bro, seriously massive. These beasts are circling, and Dokja's getting ready for a brutal fight, but honestly, this is a bad situation. Okay, so things are insane right now. Our boy and Kyung are running for their lives, totally freaking out. They jump off a cliff hoping to escape, but oh no, a whole army of armored knights appears out of nowhere. It's a full-on ambush with knights flying everywhere, swords swinging, and chaos unfolding. This is intense. They're both plummeting toward the ground, dodging attacks, and Kyung is straight up terrified, but our boy is trying to stay calm. The army is massive, like seriously overwhelming, and Kyung realizes they must be the residents of this crazy world. Kyung panics, begging our boy not to make him fight, but it's looking grim, bro. She points out the sheer number of enemies. They are way too many, and honestly, it's a little scary. The army is closing in fast, and Kyung is losing it, but our boy is trying to figure out a plan. He declares they must be the residents of this world, trying to sound confident, but the situation is desperate. Kyung is losing hope, convinced they're doomed, but our boy has to use his knowledge to survive, no matter what. Okay, so the army starts charging, and our boy just starts stomping on them, straight up flattening knights. It's brutal, bro. He's leaving a trail of crushed armor and screaming soldiers with every step. The knights are falling like dominoes, and a commander yells for a retreat, but it's too late. Our boy is a whirlwind of destruction, and honestly, these guys never saw it coming. He's moving so fast, he's basically creating a path of carnage through the entire army. Hyung is still freaking out, screaming for help, but our boy is just focused on survival. One knight manages to swing a blade, but our boy deflects it with ease. This dude is a monster. Kicks another knight into the air, and the force is so strong, the guy just explodes. The retreat turns into a full-blown rout, and the army is collapsing under his relentless assault. But wait, a mysterious figure is watching from the distance, and they look seriously unhappy. Okay, so the redhead and the axe guy are questioning him about Izumi. Apparently, they lost contact a while back. The axe guy is stepping on something red. Oh no, it's blood. Things are getting messy again. Redhead keeps pressing about Izumi, and axe guy looks like he wants to change the subject fast. Suddenly, a new dude, Michio, appears, looking stressed and clutching something. Ishio's clearly hurt, stumbling forward and groaning, and he's definitely seen some action. He stares intensely, realizing what's happening, and Bro is not happy about it. Michio explains they know this situation, but the redhead is demanding to know what they have to do. Our boy reveals he knew all along why Yoonhyuk didn't want to bring Kihyun. It's a heavy reveal. He's got this intense look on his face, and it's clear he's been keeping secrets. This dude is straight up calculating, and honestly, it's kinda terrifying. Okay, so the star stream isn't limiting these scenarios to Earth. Other worlds are involved, which is wild. The main scenario activates and it's a doozy. Wipe out the ruling species of planet Peaceland. Seriously. The conditions are brutal: extinction within 40 days with a massive reward and a terrifying penalty if they fail. He's suddenly thrust into the scenario and it's a straight-up slaughter. People are falling left and right. The enemy soldiers beg for mercy, calling him a great catastrophe, but he just looks resigned. He's becoming the very thing this planet fears, and it's clear this mission is taking a toll on him. The system confirms it. He is the catastrophe for planet Peaceland, and it's not a title he wanted. He's declaring he must become the destroyer of this world, but it feels so forced and awful. The soldiers are pleading for their lives, desperate for any kindness, but it's clear it won't happen. This dude is officially broken, and honestly, the weight of this scenario is crushing him. He's questioning if they orchestrated this whole scenario too, and honestly, it feels right. A fluffy, upright creature, some kind of animal person, is suddenly lifted into the air by a golden glow. This dude is floating, looking smug, and declares, "My goodness," like he planned this whole thing. He announces the third team from the Japan Dome is going all out from the jump, no holding back. The fluffy guy finishes with a hopeful message: "I hope you learn many coins here in Peaceland." Our boy is clearly disturbed by this whole situation. It's not a rescue, it's a setup. But wait, this isn't about saving anyone. It's a competition for coins, and he's realizing it now. This dude is straight up being used as a tool for someone else's twisted game. The situation is getting darker, and it's clear this scenario is far more complex than he thought. He's trapped in a nightmare, and the realization is hitting him hard. No way out. Maruyama demands to know whose side our boy is on, and he immediately picks the leader without hesitation. Apparently the leader is a nickname for the most powerful person in TWSA, and this dude knows it. He asks if the two of them have forgotten something, and it's a straight-up tense moment. Our boy reveals the leader is Izumi Hiroki, Japan's most powerful incarnation and the occupier of their ruler's throne. Get a flash of Izumi Hiroki looking all regal and intimidating, sitting on a fancy throne. The scene cuts to an intricate design on the throne, almost like a dragon, and it's seriously intense. He repeats the question when Izumi is still alive. It's like a challenge and a threat all in one. The bald guy and the red-haired woman are shocked because Izumi was supposed to be dead. Our boy is playing mind games, and honestly, it's a power move. This is escalating quickly, and it's clear Izumi being alive changes everything. One of the guys stops the others, questioning if they've already killed enough. Seriously. He adds that Izumi or Ren will be furious if they keep going, which is a surprising concern. Our boy is losing it, yelling at them to move it and not annoy the Constellations. He's losing control. The bald guy and red hair are totally shocked by this outburst, like, what is happening? He draws his sword and the blade sings as it's unsheathed. This is getting intense fast. But wait, this dude is actually trying to protect Izumi and Ren. No way, the plot just thickened. Amano's got a sword and he's straight up drawing it, looking super focused and intense. Everyone's watching him confused. They're asking if he's scared, but honestly, he looks ready for war. Amano's joined by this huge guy with an axe and a red-haired dude who looks menacing, to say the least. They're talking about getting started, and Amano seems totally unnerved by the red-haired guy's stare. The red-haired dude leans in close and Amano is visibly sweating. This is not a friendly conversation. But then, bam, the red-haired dude unleashes a massive burst of power and things go completely insane. Someone gets blasted back, flying through the air with a huge explosion, and it's all chaotic energy and debris. See a figure falling and it looks like they're in bad shape, covered in blood and clearly hurt. The red-haired dude's standing there surrounded by the aftermath and he's grinning like it's nothing. More explosions, more flying debris. This fight is escalating quickly and it's brutal. The red-haired dude keeps attacking and Amano's dodging like a pro. It's seriously intense. Amano's swinging his sword, but it's barely making a dent in the red-haired guy's defense. No way. But then the big guy with the axe jumps in, unleashing a massive swing. It's a game changer. The axe connects, sending a shockwave and forcing the red-haired dude to actually stumble back. Amano sees an opening and charges, launching a desperate attack, but the red-haired dude blocks. The red-haired dude counters, sending Amano flying. Ouch, that looked painful, bro. However, Amano lands surprisingly gracefully, and he's already back on his feet, ready to fight. Suddenly, a golden knight bursts onto the scene, swinging a huge sword and cutting through everything. This knight is straight up mowing down enemies, and it's a total power move. He's a beast. Amano's shouting at the knight to look, and it's clear he knows something everyone else doesn't. Amano shouts that just because something is small doesn't mean it's weak. He's definitely talking about those insect-like creatures. The Golden Knight is swinging his sword like it's nothing, slicing through the little monsters and even the big guy's axe. The knight jumps, bringing his sword down on the bald dude, but he manages to barely dodge. That was close. This knight is relentless, swinging again and again, and the bald dude is just trying to block, getting overwhelmed. The knight's sword connects with the bald dude's shoulder, and straight up, a chunk of him flies off. Brutal. Keeps swinging, and another hit lands, sending the bald dude reeling. This guy's taking a beating. The knight delivers a final blow, and the bald dude goes down, screaming in pain. It's over for him. The red-haired dude is shocked, yelling, "Damn it, he didn't expect that swift takedown." He and the knight are now facing each other, and you can feel the tension building. This is gonna be epic. The red-haired dude is looking down at the fallen bald dude, and honestly, he looks furious. The Golden Knight is leading the charge, yelling for everyone to follow him. It's a full-on assault. He's dodging arrows like it's nothing, pushing forward while shouting they can win. This dude is fearless. The red-haired dude is screaming at them to get lost, swinging at the advancing forces. He's putting up a fight. But the Golden Knight just kicks him, sending him flying backwards. No way, that was a brutal hit. Some onlookers are starting to believe they actually have a chance. Finally, a little hope. They shout their creed for the tiniest one, and the knight's roaring right along with them. It's a rallying cry. Knight is cutting through enemies left and right, sword swinging like a whirlwind. It's a complete massacre. And get this, a Constellation is cheering for our boy Jelimium, even gifting him coins. Seriously. A couple of observers think it's all getting interesting, and honestly, they're totally right. They're watching the chaos unfold, and this feels like a major turning point. Things are about to get wild. The Golden Knight announces Catastrophe can now get even more buffs. Seriously, this guy is leveling up fast. A bald guy tries to whisper something to the red-haired dude, but he's clearly terrified, and honestly, he should be. The red-haired dude looks shocked, and the bald guy's face is a mess. Something big just went down. Knight's forces are swarming, and the red-haired dude is ready to fight. It's an all-out brawl. They're shouting about boring things for them, and then crush. That sounded painful straight up. The knight grabs a piece of the broken armor, and it's looking grim for the injured dude. The knight's men are closing in, swords drawn. This is a full-on ambush, no doubt. We get a close-up of a knight's face, and this dude looks seriously menacing. Yikes. More knights surround them, weapons raised, and things are looking desperate. They're completely trapped. A shadowy figure observes everything, and he's smirking. Oh no, this can't be good. The knight is getting absolutely demolished, and some constellations are loving every second of it. But the little constellation, the planet, is in serious pain, reacting to all the carnage. We see Jelimium's armor cracking and breaking apart, and it looks like it's tearing from his body. He cries out, clearly in agony, as his golden armor falls to pieces. A bald guy casually picks up a shard of the broken armor, like it's no big deal. He says if that's what the constellations want, he'll comply. This dude is a little too calm. He crushes the piece of armor in his hand, and the ground starts to crack and splinter. Everything around them is breaking, and the red-haired guy is looking shocked. It's getting intense. The red-haired dude is starting to freak out, realizing if they fight now, the scenario will become way harder. No way, the bald guy is smirking, and honestly, this is a terrible turn of events. Okay, so the blonde girl is looking at our boy with these crazy, glowing red eyes, super unsettling, honestly. He agrees to do whatever she asks, and she confirms that's what she wanted to hear. Sketchy vibes all around. Bald guy is losing his buff, his power-up is fading, and he's realizing it way too late. The red-haired dude is questioning everything, but the bald guy is already moving, and things are escalating fast. Boom, a massive blast of energy explodes, sending everyone flying. Straight-up chaos is unfolding. The bald guy is sent hurtling through the air, and the red-haired dude is yelling, completely shocked by what just happened. The Golden Knight is taking a beating, clearly injured, and it's a brutal sight. This fight is intense. Our boy is dashing forward, moving at incredible speed, but seriously, what's the plan here? He's leaving the red-haired dude and the knight behind, but he's heading right into the danger, bro. Bald guy's stunned, questioning what the heck just happened, and honestly, we're all wondering the same thing. Okay, so the blonde girl is completely overpowering the Golden Knight. It's brutal, and he's getting wrecked. But suddenly, our boy grabs the knight, yanking him away from the blonde's attack. He's shielding the knight, which is a total surprise and honestly super brave. Okay, so things are intense right now. Hana, who's usually so composed, is covered in blood and straight up losing it. Everyone's confused, but then they realize Yuseum doesn't have the interpretation skill, meaning he can't understand Japanese. A bald guy yells at them to hurry, while the red-haired woman looks super annoyed. They're clearly on a tight schedule. Hana's clutching a bloody knife and muttering about her supporting Constellation, telling her to get rid of someone. Oh no. She's fully embracing the villain role, staring down whoever she's planning to take out. It's a scary vibe. The red-haired woman is giving the bald guy a death glare, and he looks terrified. What's going on with them? Hana and a ghostly figure are teaming up, and she thinks this mission will be easier with two of them. That's ominous. She confidently says they can handle it, and honestly, this is a disaster waiting to happen. I can feel it. Hana and the ghost are working together, and she seems to be getting a boost in power. She's becoming a real threat. But it looks like she's not the only one getting help, as the ghost appears to be strengthening her resolve. This is wild. Okay, so this dude Yuseum is arriving on the scene, and everyone's realizing the top players always show up first. A constellation is apparently super impressed with Yuseum, and a notification pops up saying he's unlocked a new possibility. He's unlocking stuff, but it looks painful. Our boy is straight up struggling with whatever's happening to him. The Japanese incarnates are questioning if they're at a disadvantage, and honestly, they should be worried. The bald guy and the red-haired woman are like, nah, they are underestimating us and are giving off major confidence. Then Yuseum appears looking totally wrecked and everyone's stunned. No way did he make it through whatever that was. The constellations are going wild over Yuseum's arrival, but it's clear he's barely holding on. Yuseum's clearly exhausted, but he's still got that determined look. This dude never gives up. The Japanese incarnates are now really confused, and honestly they deserve it for underestimating Yuseum. But they're quickly realizing Yuseum is a whole different level of threat, and things are about to get chaotic. Yuseum is unleashing a massive flare, and the red-haired woman is straight up furious. She thinks everyone who came here first is an idiot. She's launching a blue energy blast at the bald guy, but Yuseum intercepts, looking totally wrecked but determined. The bald guy is like, we are going easy on you just because you're a kid, and honestly, he's probably right. Hana, holding a knife, is looking pretty scared, but she's still standing her ground against whatever's happening. Suddenly, massive stone hands burst from the ground and everyone is shocked. No way this is happening. The red-haired woman is freaking out, realizing the penalties for entering are way worse than she thought. The stone hands are closing in, but Yuseum is somehow still standing, pushing through the pain. A ghostly figure appears behind Hana, seemingly giving her strength. She's definitely leveling up. Yuseum is unleashing another, even bigger flare, and the bald guy is bracing for impact. However, the blast doesn't hit the bald guy. It destroys the stone hands, saving everyone from being crushed. Yuseum launches himself forward, dodging the red-haired woman's attack and sending her flying. The bald guy yells at Yuseum, but then realizes what just happened. No way did Yuseum just move like that. Hana's stepping on something, a spiderweb, and looks totally freaked out by a dagger on the ground. This dude is about to step right onto that dagger, but Hana reacts fast and yanks him back. The red-haired woman is furious, but the bald guy is now questioning everything. What was that magic? A voice booms declaring this is a spiderweb, and honestly, that's terrifying. Yuseung is getting tossed through the air and it looks painful, but he's still pushing forward. The red-haired woman is shocked. She's realizing this place is way more dangerous than she thought. The bald guy is speechless, questioning what he just witnessed, and honestly, same. Hana, despite being scared, is still trying to protect our boy. She's a total MVP. Someone's looking for a missing woman and suddenly Yuseung's personal skill activates. It's a character profile scan. Instead of a profile, it's activating a character summary for the red-haired dude, Maruyama Kenichi. Kenishi's stats are revealed, supporting Constellation Fox with 2 tails and a rare attribute. He's an attention seeker, huh? Next up is the bald guy, Amano Goro, with a 1,800-year-old turtle as his constellation and strong and bald as his trait. Their stats are above average, but Yuseung straight up says they're no match for him, confidence level, maximum. But Yuseung's worried about their supporting constellations. That's the real threat, apparently. If they're part of the third wave of participants, they're probably nothing, but most of Japan's strong incantations have samurai or swordsman constellations. However, some of them have monsters of fable as their supporting constellations. That's a whole other level of danger. The bald guy is reacting to something and the red-haired woman looks surprised. What's going on? The red-haired woman is questioning what just happened. No way she didn't see that coming. Kenichi is moving fast, slicing at Goro with a glowing blade. No hesitation at all. Goro is shocked, but Yuseung shouts at Hana to stay calm. He's got this covered, apparently. Yuseung is a whirlwind of blades, deflecting attacks and moving like a blur. This dude is seriously skilled. He's slicing through everything, even the trees, trying to find Goro. It's a total forest massacre. Goro is desperately asking where Yuseung is, but our boy is already behind him, preparing to strike. Yuseung unleashes a massive blast of blue energy, sending Goro flying. It's a straight-up explosion. The energy wave keeps going, pushing Goro further and further. He's completely overwhelmed. Hana is sent tumbling as well, but Yuseung's energy protects her. He's really looking out for her. Yuseung lands gracefully, looking totally unfazed. This guy is a monster, honestly. Hana is terrified, but Yuseung assures her he's got everything under control. Talk about a smooth save. Hana's straight up losing it, covering her ears and freaking out as these massive wolf-like creatures appear. The bald guy is screaming, realizing what's happening, but it's too late. They're already swarming him. He swings his axe wildly, trying to fend them off, but there are just too many. It's a brutal fight. These beasts are relentless, snapping and clawing, and the bald guy is getting torn apart. It's intense. He yells out in pain, covered in blood, and honestly, this dude had it coming, messing with forces he didn't understand. More wolves appear surrounding the scene, and it looks like Hana is next. No escape for her. But Yuseung jumps in front of Hana, protecting her, and blasts another wave of energy. What a save. Yuseung is observing the chaos, and he's genuinely shocked. He didn't expect Hana to unlock this kind of power. He realizes Hana is becoming a beast lord, and this is something even he didn't see coming. Talk about a twist. Okay, so Yuseung Shin is straight up the main contributor to everything going wrong, apparently. Woojin, the blonde dude, is kneeling over a seriously messed up scene. Someone's been absolutely destroyed. No way. The carnage is intense, red text is popping off, and it's clear this is a major turning point for everyone involved. But hold up, the system announces Yuseung Shin has lost all his powers, like completely wiped clean. Woojin is gasping for air, totally wrecked by what just happened, and honestly, this dude had it coming. And now things get weird. Yuseung Shin is shrinking, actually getting smaller before everyone's eyes. He looks completely lost, questioning what's happening as blue energy crackles around him. It's kind of freaky. Sparks fly everywhere as Yuseung Shin continues to diminish, and everything is going haywire with blue flashes. More sparks, more energy, and the shrinking continues. It's a total chaotic mess of power and confusion. The energy intensifies, and now Yuseung Shin is fading away, disappearing into a blinding blue light. Woojin stands there looking down at the fading remains of Yuseung Shin and asks if he feels bad, like seriously. The remnants of Yuseung Shin writhe on the grass, still somehow alive. It's super unsettling, bro. He's a mess of limbs and broken bones, but he's trying to move, weakly wriggling around. It's disturbing. Woojin looks down, a dark expression on his face, and straight up asks if Yuseung Shin feels anything. Yu Shin manages a strained reply quite a lot, but he's clearly broken physically and mentally. Wujin's eyes narrow and he's clearly not buying Yu Shin's pathetic attempt at composure. This dude is ruthless. He steps closer and Yu Shin flinches, bracing for whatever's coming. The tension is insane right now. Wujin's face is inches from Yu Shin's, a cold smirk playing on his lips, and it's clear he's enjoying this. He delivers the final blow, saying that Yu Shin played the victim role perfectly, but it's over now. Wujin's eyes blaze with power, and he's ready to finish this. Yu Shin messed with the wrong reader, honestly. Wujin asks Yu Shin if he knew what would happen, holding the crumbling remains of a tooth, seriously unsettling. He's got this cold, calculating look, and Yu Shin is lying there, broken and bleeding. It's brutal. Wujin's foot looms over Yu Shin, and for a second you think he's gonna finish him off for good. But hold up, Wujin's holding up a hand with the tooth fragments and asks if he's going to kill him too. Wujin straight up says no, they have a use for him, which is way more terrifying than just killing him. We get a close-up of Yu Shin looking totally wrecked, and someone asks if he's even conscious anymore. Turns out he is conscious and weakly mumbles about being the only one who tried to protect the small men. A little hypocritical, TBH. Wujin's thinking and reveals he needs Yu Shin for a plan he's got brewing, so he's not offing him just yet. A system message pops up, take caution not to make enemies of fellow catastrophes. Wujin is playing a dangerous game. Another system message drops a bomb. Opposing another catastrophe means losing all your power. Wujin's really putting it all on the line. Wujin gets a system message. If he doesn't murder a member of the ruling species within an hour, he loses his catastrophe status. But wait, there's more. Another message says failing to act like a catastrophe will forfeit his status too. This is a trap. Our boy declares he must hunt down the king of catastrophes within the hour, no questions asked. He's holding Yu Shin, who is tiny, in his hand, and honestly, this dude had it coming. Wujin thinks back, realizing he was incredibly lucky to even survive this encounter. He remembers how close he was to death, but now he's got a plan brewing. Wujin is scanning the forest, searching for any sign of the king, looking super intense. The forest is thick and overgrown, sunlight dabbling through the leaves. It's a total maze. He spots someone in the distance, and his gaze sharpens. Could this be the king? Wujin narrows his eyes, and we get a close-up of his face, promising action is about to go down. Wujin's got a terrifying realization. Korea is straight up a scary place in this world. Maruyama and Amano get one shot, instantly defeated. No way, this is intense. Someone's getting kicked and it's brutal, showcasing the power at play here. This guy is shocked. If a kid is that strong, what will the real villains be like? Wujin activates level 2 of Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. He's leveling up his cheat sheet. Wujin and Yuseung walk, and Wujin brushes it off, saying he was just moved by the fight. Yuseung is stunned. He didn't expect a Korean to help him, of all people. They both agree they should look out for each other, a rare moment of camaraderie. Wujin is clearly calculating. He's wondering just how strong the real enemy is going to be. Wujin's expression is chilling. He's sizing up the situation and planning his next move. Wujin's helper, Michio, speaks Japanese, and someone thinks that means he likes them. Talk about a reach. Michio introduces himself, and our boy Kim Dokja finally gives his name. It's a whole thing. But hold up, Michio realizes Dokja sounds like Dokja, a super humble apology in Japanese culture. Michio is totally confused that a Korean person would have that as a name, and Dokja just stares. Michio then drops a bomb. He asks if Dokja has seen the kid who offed Maruyama and Amano. Wujin says the kid must have devastated his allies, but Dokja straight up scoffs. He's not impressed. Dokja is fuming, explaining he couldn't even stand up to those bastards. This dude's got baggage. He reveals he just watched them die. It's a dark moment, and honestly kinda sad. Dokja's frustrated, admitting he couldn't protect anyone, but he's not gonna wallow in self-pity. Wujin's expression is intense. He's clearly planning something big, and we're here for it. Wujin and Michio are talking about contracts with monsters, but then a constellation, a 1-800-year-old turtle, is livid at someone. Michio thinks most Japanese people make deals with monsters of fable, but Wujin corrects him. It's not really like that. Michio drops a bombshell. A kid named Izumi claimed the throne in Tokyo, and Dokja wants to know who this Izumi is. Turns out Izumi is Japan's most powerful incarnation, with a powerful constellation backing him up, and he led their first group. Michio explains that Izumi's group had some members side with small men, and Dokja, of course, is immediately suspicious. Woojin confirms some of Michio's group did side with the smaller guys. Things are getting messy. Woojin then casually mentions he saw a girl grow smaller all of a sudden. What is happening? Woojin reveals that this girl, the one who's getting smaller, is the kid who killed Izumi's incarnation. No way. Dokja's got a dark past, straight up. He watched Izumi and Amano die and couldn't do a thing about it. But Dokja isn't letting that get him down. He's gonna use that pain to fuel his next move, and honestly, we love to see it. Woojin asks Dokja if he knows anything about all this, but Dokja straight up admits he's clueless. Dokja's thinking back to the past. He remembers Izumi and Amano dying and he couldn't save them, but he won't let that break him. Okay, so things are tense. This blonde woman, seemingly trapped, straight up says no one who survived this long is average. This dude, a mysterious man in a suit, is laying down some heavy truth bombs. He thinks surviving makes people dangerous. He believes a person can become a catastrophe to another, and honestly, it's a little creepy how calm he is saying it. We cut back to the blonde, and she's clearly freaked out by what she's hearing, clutching herself in bed. Here's the twist, she's not just scared, she's realizing something big is coming, a disaster in the future perhaps. The man in the suit is now radiating menace, and we see another character wielding blue flames. Things are escalating fast. Our boy is making a point, stating that one person absolutely can ruin another's life. Talk about foreshadowing. She's having a moment, realizing just how bad things could get, and her expression is intense, like she knows something we don't. Then, out of nowhere, a buzzing sound starts, like something's interfering with the connection. It's super unsettling. And the source of the buzz, it's messing with the man in the suit, which means whatever's happening is affecting even the powerful ones. Okay, so the man in the suit notices the insects aren't changing size and instantly connects it to the smaller people. He thinks they're experiencing these bugs as full-blown disasters. He asks Yuseon if she can understand what the insects are saying, because apparently she's the translator now. No way. The man, Dr. Kim, wants Yuseon to relay a message, and she's questioning if he even listened to her previous explanation. He confirms he was listening, and reveals they were talking about the isekai genre, which is a popular thing in Japan. Yuseon admits she's seen works like that before, and Dr. Kim emphasizes how readily available they are to these people. Dr. Kim is laying it all out. He thinks these people are living out an isekai story, and it's messed up. But here's the thing, the buzzing intensifies, and it's clearly messing with Dr. Kim's connection. Something's disrupting him. We finally get a closer look at the blue-haired dude, and he looks seriously annoyed, like about to lose his cool. This dude is gripping something tightly, and you just know it's about to go down. The tension is unreal. Dr. Kim is totally focused, staring intently, and honestly, this whole situation is giving me major chills. Dr. Kim blurts out a name, Asuka Ren, and it hits Yuseon like a ton of bricks. She remembers hearing that name before. Yuseon realizes Asuka Ren said something similar to what Dr. Kim just said, and she's seriously freaked out. We get a flashback to a chaotic scene, panels everywhere showing someone drawing frantically. It's intense. This artist, a red-haired woman, is muttering to herself, revealing she thinks this world might be a comic she created. The red-haired woman is sketching, completely absorbed in her work, and it's clear she's the one pulling the strings. Dr. Kim suddenly shouts Asuka Ren. It's like a switch flipped, and he's making the connection. Yuseon and another guy, Mr. Kim, are questioning where Asuka Ren is, and things are spiraling fast. Mr. Kim thinks they've figured something out, but honestly, this whole situation is beyond bizarre. Dr. Kim is convinced this whole world is a comic someone drew, straight up a fictional reality. But here's the kicker, the red-haired artist is now fully visible, and she's looking right at them. This is not good. They find markings on trees, a weird symbol, and Dr. Kim instantly recognizes it as a sign from the first group. He's certain Izumi's group was nearby, and Yuseon is starting to trust his crazy instincts. They push forward following the trail, and Dr. Kim steps on something. It's definitely blood, no way. Dokja, Kim, and Yuseum walk on, and a system message pops up. They've entered a demon's formation. Everything around them starts to distort, the trees twisting and the air crackling with energy. It's intense. The forest is transforming, becoming a nightmarish landscape of warped trees and glowing lines, super creepy. Dokja Kim realizes this formation is designed to trap people, and it's all connected to the artist, Asuka Ren. Yuseum is freaking out, but Dokja Kim is oddly calm. He's seen this all before in the novel. Our boy is prepared. He explains the formation's purpose, to isolate and torment its victims, but it's also a test. Dokja Kim is determined to break through this formation, but honestly, it feels like they're walking into a trap. Dokja Kim shouts this is, and his stats immediately take a hit. The demon's formation is messing with him. He explains this formation is a special ability unique to Japanese constellations, and it's serious. Apparently, this skill helped Izumi Hiroki become one of the top 100 strongest in the world. No pressure. Yuseum asks if they can even hear him over the chaos, but Dokja Kim has a realization. It wasn't Izumi who cast this. Dokja Kim thinks if Izumi had created the formation, it would be way harder to even stand right now, but someone else is responsible. He declares only a select few Japanese incarnations besides Izumi can actually use this demon's formation. It's a small pool of potential enemies. Yuseum confirms there's absolutely no doubt about it, and Dokja Kim's face is grim. And then a system message screams that the serpent incarnate is nearby, and everyone's on high alert. The forest is exploding with red energy, and Dokja Kim is bracing for a fight because this is getting real. But hold up, it's not a direct attack, it's a message, and the words who are blasted across the scene. Okay, so this mysterious figure in black just straight up yeets himself at Yuseum and Dokja Kim, a total surprise attack. Yuseum is sent flying, but Dokja Kim manages to block the attack. Our boy's reflexes are insane. The attackers are revealed to be wearing creepy red demon masks, and they're not happy someone brought a Korean with them. They demand to know which team Dokja Kim and Yuseum are on, and Yuseum blurts out there with Izumi. Dokja Kim immediately corrects him, stating he's with Izumi, which throws everyone off. Even Yuseum looks confused. The masked figures start laughing, clearly thinking Dokja Kim has no idea what's going on. But Dokja Kim drops a bomb. He knows this formation isn't Izumi's work, and someone else is pulling the strings. Declares they've been played and this whole thing is a setup. Talk about a twist. The leader of the masked group scoffs, saying Dokja Kim is clueless, but honestly, he's about to be proven wrong. Dokja Kim is unfazed and his expression is pure confidence. This dude is about to flip the script. The masked leader is laying down some serious shade, claiming Dokja Kim's stats are below average and he has no constellation support. Ouch. Dokja Kim doesn't even flinch and straight up reveals he expected this. He knew his stats would be trash in this scenario. He explains this whole situation is designed to make him look weak, and someone is intentionally suppressing his abilities, which is kinda terrifying. Okay, so things are wild. Michio Shoji, this dude who's a total catastrophe, is about to level up, like seriously evolve. He's straight up declaring he'll take care of everyone, and you can feel the power surging, but something's off. Kim Dokja's yelling at Michio to run, offering to buy him some time. Our boy is trying to be a hero, but it's risky. Michio ignores him and charges forward, swinging his sword, but wait, he actually says Dokja's name correctly. And then BAM, a system message drops. Michio is giving up all his powers, abandoning his catastrophe status. He swings his sword again, but it's different, weaker. Honestly, it's a huge shift in power dynamics. Michio gets hit and it's a clean strike. He's actually getting hurt, which is a first. But here's the twist, Michio isn't evolving into something, he's shedding his power. It's a sacrifice play. He's straight up admitting he's giving everything up, which is insane because he was so strong a minute ago. Now Michio's down, bleeding, but he's doing it to protect someone. No way, this is getting emotional. Michio's crew is demanding to know why they're being attacked, but it's not about countries, it's about the small people and the catastrophe. Kim Dokja's like, wait, is this true? And straight up refuses to believe they fought to protect anyone. They're saying these guys weren't protecting anyone, but Dokja insists they were. It's a total misunderstanding. Suddenly, a flashback hits of a man and a woman, but their faces are blurred, which is super sus. Someone asks what they looked like, and honestly, this is where things get really weird. Michio's group is getting impatient, threatening to attack if they don't get answers. The tension is insane. And then, a system message. A personal skill has activated for Dokja. What is happening? Dokja swings his sword and the blade cuts through the air with a bang. It's a full-on attack. He's using the skill to amplify his abilities, but it's a risky move. It looks like it's draining him. However, the skill seems to be working and Dokja's ready to fight. This is about to get intense. Dokja unleashes a massive blast of energy, sending everyone flying. It's total chaos. A masked figure rushes forward, seemingly unaffected, while another guy screams what's going on. Two more masked opponents appear, one wielding a knife, and they're attacking Michio's group relentlessly. People are getting knocked around, tossed through the air. It's a straight-up free-for-all and brutal. An older man gets sent tumbling, but he's still smiling even as he's about to get flattened. Someone grabs a younger man, trying to shield him from the onslaught, but it's a desperate move. The older man takes a hit for them, and honestly, this dude is a legend. Dokja yells for everyone to hold tight, while holding a strange stone in his hand. He's activating something with the stone. It looks like another power-up, but is it enough? The stone glows and Dokja's ready to face whatever's coming, even with everything falling apart. Someone yells at Dokja to just move to a different pocket. Seriously, our boy is holding multiple people. Dokja casually tells them to get along, but then straight up grabs someone and starts shrinking them. He's shrinking people and tossing them around like toys, but it's a brutal move, no way. This dude tries to run, but Dokja steps on him. Yikes, that's gotta hurt. The shrinking continues and someone pleads with Dokja to just leave him, but Dokja is stone cold. Dokja's power is surging, and the system announces he's under a level 1 penalty. Ouch. His stats are decreasing, but his body mass is increasing. What is even happening right now? Dokja is sprinting, creating a huge wind vortex. This is getting wild. He orders everyone to go after someone, and the system announces other continents want to see a fight. And just like that, they're gifted 2,000 coins. The system is a chaotic mess, but we love it. Someone's got Dokja pinned, and another guy thinks our boy is predictable. Talk about underestimating him. Dokja lays down the law. You can't just kill people, but everything small is fair game. Savage. He's off, sprinting through the forest like a total boss, leaving everyone in the dust. Everyone realizes their leader is the guy Dokja's been hunting. It's all clicking into place. But wait, this isn't how it happened before. The leader wasn't Japan's boss in the original timeline. And here he is, the serpent, looking menacing with that long hair and scaly outfit. Honestly, someone spots the leader and yells, "Is that the serpent?" Dokja's crew is finally catching on. Dokja's ally confirms it's highly likely, and things are about to get real intense, no doubt. Dokja's stats are dropping and he's getting bigger. The system is messing with him again. He's running through the woods and everyone says they were penalized too quickly, but Dokja doesn't care. Unless something major changes, the Serpent Incarnate is still leading this round. Talk about a predictable villain. Dokja is moving, bro. He's a blur of speed, trying to catch up with the leader. But he's slowed down by the penalty and some kind of demon formation. Seriously. He's carrying an old lady on his back and she casually asks if she's too heavy. This is hilarious. The old lady chuckles and we get a close-up of her face. She looks mischievous, to say the least. Dokja is straining and it turns out this old lady is surprisingly dense. Her weight hasn't changed at all. She's chuckling again and honestly, this is getting creepy fast. She's still chuckling and her expression is unsettling. She definitely knows more than she lets on. The old lady's still grinning, and it's clear she's playing some kind of game with Dokja. This dude is running with a surprisingly heavy passenger, but he's determined to win. What a champ. Dokja is gaining on the Serpent Incarnate, but someone, a mysterious figure, is flying right for him. This dude in the white coat is straight up yelling at the flying figure, demanding to know what's happening. He's moving fast, but the flying figure is dodging him. It's a chase scene in the forest. The old lady on Dokja's back is still laughing, and honestly, it's super unsettling. She's revealing a hidden symbol on her robe. This lady is definitely involved in something big. The flying figure crashes and the white coat guy is right there, looking shocked. What did he see? No way, the figure's mouth is full of blood and teeth, revealing some kind of monstrous transformation. He yells out and the white coat guy looks absolutely horrified. This is getting intense. The white coat guy demands to know what's going on, but it's clear this isn't a simple misunderstanding. Okay, so this million-year-old centipede is straight up evolving into a constellation, and it's huge. But his face, it's getting seriously intense as he realizes just how strong this centipede actually is. The story dives into lore. Apparently, ancient turtles can also become constellations. It's a whole thing. However, Izumi's not worried. He's convinced he'll crush this creature no problem. Our boy is suddenly getting slammed by the effects of the demon's formation. His mental fortitude is plummeting. He's starting to believe Izumi actually has the absolute throne, and it's messing with him badly. Seriously, this dude is on the verge of a breakdown. A single tear is rolling down his face. Izumi's got the absolute power, and our boy knows it. His mental state is crumbling fast. And just when you think it can't get worse, his mental fortitude completely breaks. No way, this is good. Izumi just drops a bombshell. He's the current king of Japan, straight up flexing on everyone. But the centipede is evolving fast, and the scenario buff is making it even more likely to become a catastrophe. The centipede's body is cracking and reforming, growing monstrously. It's seriously unsettling. Our boy's arms start breaking. The strain is insane, but he's trying to hold on to his sanity. However, the centipede's transformation is accelerating, and the cracks are spreading everywhere. It's getting worse. The centipede's shell is splitting, revealing a terrifying skeletal structure. The creature is fully forming now, and it's an absolute nightmare, a twisted constellation of bone and shadow. Our boy is reeling, totally shocked by the scale of this thing, and he lets out a pained ack. But the centipede's evolution is complete. It's a horrifying sight, and the plausibility of disaster is through the roof. Seriously, this is bad. The centipede is fully awake, and our boy is in way over his head. A notification dings. Its main scenario #6. Little savior, and the stakes are insane. Save the planet or it's toast. The system lays it all out. S-class difficulty, 40 days to complete, and rewards so big they're ridiculous. But here's the kicker. They've already encountered one of the two renowned catastrophes, and it's a million-year-old centipede. This dude, Yamamoto Hajime, isn't just any bug. He's a threat that dreams of taking over everything. Seriously terrifying. Our boy is reeling, trying to process everything, and the system is just flooding him with info. It's overload. He's getting a full rundown of the current situation, and honestly, it's bleak with two catastrophes on the horizon. But the screen shows they've already met one, the centipede, and it's just massive, looming in the background. The centipede is fully visible now, a monstrous skeletal horror, and it's clear this isn't a normal bug. This thing is straight up radiating power, and our boy is standing right in front of it, completely frozen. It's a full-on showdown brewing, and the implications are huge. Failure means the end of Peaceland, no joke. Okay, so Yamamoto Hajime reveals he didn't even want to attack this guy, which is wild. He straight up punches the other catastrophe, a red-suited dude, through a wall, no hesitation. The impact cracks the wall, and honestly, it's a brutal display of power from our boy. The wall completely gives way, and Yamamoto Hajime is just destroying everything around him. It's chaos, debris flying everywhere, and the red-suited guy is clearly getting wrecked. But the system chimes in. Yamamoto Hajime isn't penalized for attacking another catastrophe. What? Turns out a catastrophe that dreams of usurping can attack another catastrophe. It's a loophole. Our boy realizes this, muttering "damn it," and finally understands the situation. The centipede is still looming, but now it's clear Yamamoto Hajime is a bigger threat than anyone thought. And with a final, earth-shattering whoosh, everything explodes, signaling this fight is far from over. Okay, so Constellations are pissed at the centipede's actions, which is a bad sign for everyone. Yamamoto Hajime gets absolutely blasted backwards, crashing through more walls. This dude is taking a beating. The impact cracks the ground around him, and it's clear this isn't just a physical attack, it's something else. Our boy realizes the Constellations are upset with the centipede, and one of them, who sealed away demons, is staring right at him. But wait, the centipede is growing, like, massively, and it's terrifying. This is escalating quickly. He's getting bigger and bigger, and Yamamoto Hajime has a grim realization. Killing someone makes him shrink. This is insane. The centipede is a monster, and Yamamoto Hajime is also a monster with a weird shrinking condition. He's practically floating above the wreckage now, staring down at the battlefield, and it's a super ominous vibe. And the constellations just keep piling on the pressure, hinting at something huge about to happen. Honestly, this whole situation is a mess, but our boy is about to make a choice, and it's gonna be brutal. Yamamoto Hajime is cornered. He knows killing someone will revert his power, but the centipede is still growing. He makes a huge decision and activates his special ability, Echo of the Stars, straight up calling for help from a high constellation. The constellations respond, explaining Echo of the Stars can summon a powerful being, but they might refuse the request. A massive celestial map appears, swirling with starlight, and honestly it looks like he's about to make a deal with something ancient. He shouts for the Onmyoji of contradictions, and the energy around him explodes. This is a risky move, bro. Yamamoto Hajime's eyes widen as he seemingly makes contact, and the constellations are absolutely shocked by his request. No way, the centipede starts shrinking as the power surges through Yamamoto Hajime, and the constellations are losing their minds. But there's a catch. Using Echo of the Stars reduces the number of times he can use it, so this is a one-time shot. The constellations are impressed, and it's clear this Onmyoji is a big deal, like universe-level power. Yamamoto Hajime is practically radiating power now, and he's staring down the rapidly shrinking centipede, ready to finish this. No way, Yamamoto Hajime is channeling insane power, and a giant figure starts forming from the light. Everyone's freaking out, realizing this isn't just any constellation, it's a super powerful Onmyoji. The Onmyoji's power slams into the centipede, and it's instantly nullified, straight up erased from existence. But the constellations are shocked. Apparently, this Onmyoji is a being of contradictions, a total wild card. Yamamoto Hajime is exhausted, clearly paying a massive price for summoning such a powerful being. Someone shouts a warning and everyone looks up. Something's coming and it's huge. Another constellation is descending and it looks absolutely terrifying. This isn't good, bro. This dude is really pushing his luck, but he's standing his ground, ready to face whatever comes next. However, the Onmyoji seems to be protecting him, creating a barrier against the new threat. What a save. Okay, so Boksun Lee is prepping a seriously powerful ritual, some kind of stigma invocation right at level 2. This old man, who's actually a constellation called the Shaman King, is straight up chuckling like he knows something we don't. He's moving fast like he's about to unleash something huge, but his expression is kinda tired, honestly. He's pleading for help, asking if anyone will assist him now, which is a little sus, right? We learn his supporting constellation is the Shaman King, who was the second king of Silla and a powerful shaman. This dude's name is Namhee Chachong, and he looks intimidating as heck with that crown and robe. The Shaman King is reaching out, trying to connect with someone, but it's all happening so quickly. Whatever's happening is about to go down because this dude is starting the invocation right. Someone is witnessing this, and their eyes are wide with shock as a flash of light erupts. No way, the Shaman King is unleashing some serious power, and it looks like it's impacting the observer directly. So our boy is borrowing power, wondering what source would even work right now. The Shaman King drops a truth bomb. It doesn't matter where the power comes from, only the constellation's rank. He's saying you need a constellation fable level or higher to pull this off, then starts telling a story about a centipede. He starts rambling about a village and a kind maiden, and honestly, it feels like a total distraction tactic. The maiden was generous to everyone, even toads, but she gets chosen as a sacrifice to a monster. Turns out that village was ruled by a giant centipede, which explains why this story is important, right? The maiden arrives at the centipede's lair and wait, what? The story stops abruptly. The observer, who's clearly shocked, blurts out that story is, something's clicking for them. We get a quick cut to the Shaman King continuing, saying the maiden was sacrificed to the centipede. He explains the village was under the centipede's rule and the observer is speechless. This is huge. Okay, so the observer realizes the constellation the maiden called upon is prisoner number 406, Boksun Lee. No way. Everyone's shocked. The Shaman King and some other dudes are straight up losing it at this reveal. Boksun Lee starts unleashing this insane power, and it's all crackling energy and destruction, bro. Shaman King's screaming at someone to stop her, but it's too late. She's already breaking free. She's wriggling out of her restraints, and honestly, this power-up is terrifyingly awesome. We get a close-up of Bok Sun-lee, and she looks different, radiating dark energy, which is kinda creepy. She's stomping forward, and the ground is cracking under her feet. This is a full-on rampage. Another quick cut back to the Shaman King, still freaking out, but he's starting to understand. He's realizing her supporting constellation is Bok Sun-lee, and it's hitting him hard. This changes everything. And then we see the maiden from the story, kneeling and offering something to a toad. It's a flashback, and it's connected. Bok Sun-lee is unleashing a crazy attack, and the Shaman King is trying to stop it, but it's too much. The Shaman King is yelling about dramatization as everything starts falling apart around him. No way. Some masked figures rush in, demanding they kill the old woman. They're not messing around. One of the masked guys is gearing up, flexing some serious armor, ready for a fight. Shaman King is panicking, sweating bullets as he watches the chaos unfold. This is bad. Suddenly, a hand shoots out of the darkness and grabs the Shaman King. Talk about a surprise attack. This dude is completely caught off guard, and it looks like someone's got a serious hold on him. The masked figures are closing in, and the Shaman King is desperately trying to figure out what's happening. But it's Bok Sun-lee who's behind it all. She's the one who grabbed him, and she looks absolutely terrifying. She's got him pinned, and honestly, this dude had it coming after messing with Bok Sun-lee. The Shaman King asks what happened next, but before anyone can answer, the blue flame around Bok Sun-lee explodes. It's regaining power. Whoosh, the blue flame surges, and the text box reveals it's now 300% stronger thanks to the stigma, Shikigami. That's a massive boost. The Shaman King is getting absolutely blasted by the power, his face contorting in horror. He's clearly in serious pain. Bok Sun-lee unleashes a wave of blue energy, sending the Shaman King flying backward, straight through everything. Crashes through debris, and it's a total mess. This dude is getting wrecked, no way. The blue energy continues to rip through everything, and it looks like the Shaman King is about to get completely obliterated. The masked figures are watching in shock, realizing they've seriously underestimated Bok Sun-lee and her power. One of the masked guys tries to speak, but Bok Sun-lee cuts him off, declaring the moral of the story. She finishes her sentence and delivers a final, devastating blow, sending the Shaman King crashing to the ground. And just like that, the Shaman King is flat on his face. Bok Sun-lee straight up destroyed him. The remaining masked figures yell for their leader, but it's too late. He's down for the count. System message flashes, a catastrophe of renown has fallen. It's official, the Shaman King is gone. Another message pops up, this time naming Yamamoto Hajime, a million-year-old creature with 100 legs, as the next to fall. And then Bok Sun-lee burps like she just had a huge meal and receives 5,000 coins for her efforts. She's casually standing there covered in blue energy while the masked figures are getting zapped. It's brutal. The blue energy crackles and surges around her, and honestly, it looks terrifyingly powerful. The masked figures try to react, but they're frozen in place, sparks flying off their armor. They're helpless. The Shaman King tries to get up, but he's completely wrecked, barely able to move. What a mess. He weakly looks up at Bok Sun-lee, and it's clear he's realizing the sheer power she's been hiding. Bok Sun-lee just stares down at him, her expression unreadable. She's straight up terrifying in this moment. Whoa, hold up, a system message just drops that Bok Sun-lee has lost all her powers. No way. And immediately after, she starts shrinking. This is getting seriously weird, bro. She's getting smaller and smaller, enveloped in that blue energy, while everyone looks on in shock. The Shaman King, now tiny, asks for Carrie. Can you believe the nerve of this dude? Someone tells him to put on a blanket first, ignoring his request, and honestly, good call. Suddenly, masked figures are screaming that their leader is dead. Total chaos is erupting. They demand someone stop whoever did this, but it's too late. The Shaman King is gone. One of the figures pulls out a gun, aiming it at our boy. This is about to get messy. Before they can fire, Bok Sun-lee flies forward, a whirlwind of blue energy surrounding her. She slams into the masked figures, sending them flying, and someone yells out in pain. Straight up brutal. Okay, so our boy has 10 minutes left with his bookmark skill and 5 until a penalty kicks in. The pressure is on. He needs to escape the forest within those 5 minutes, but the forest is actively trying to kill him with these crazy vines. Wait, Bok Sun Lee is yelling at him to take her with him. This tiny, powerful shaman king is seriously demanding a ride. Someone wraps her in a blanket, which is smart, and suddenly masked figures are losing their minds because their leader is gone. Okay, so things are insane right now. This guy with the red hair is screaming at someone to run for their life. A shadowy figure is closing in fast, like really fast, and it's clear why they need to move. This other dude, the one in the suit, is carrying an injured man and asks if anyone knows where they're going. Red-haired dude says he knows a place that can help, and honestly, it's about time someone had a plan. He's looking at the person he's trying to help, and you can see the desperation on his face. He confirms he knows where to go, and the urgency in his voice is palpable. They're seriously in trouble. But wait, the shadowy figure is gaining on them, and it's about to grab the person in the suit. The suit guy is trying to protect the injured man, but they're both about to get caught. No way. Red-haired dude yells for them to get him, to stop him, and it's a full-blown panic situation. And just like that, the shadowy figure snatches the injured man, and this dude is straight up disappearing. Okay, so our boy is holding a tiny floating version of the injured man. It's wild. But the system immediately fails them, announcing they didn't hunt down a small person in time. However, the Dokja of Starstream steps in, deciding this dude isn't a threat after all. This is huge. They're deeming him not a catastrophe, which is a relief considering everything. But hold up, they're slapping him with a level 3 scenario penalty, and it looks painful. Straight up, this dude is getting crushed by some sort of energy field, and it's not pretty. People are piling onto him, and he's screaming for them to get off. Total chaos right now. He's desperately trying to shake them off, but they're clinging to him like leeches. And the energy field is intensifying, making everything even more intense. This dude is seriously struggling, but he's yelling, demanding everyone get off of him. Okay, so the energy field finally releases him, and he's collapsing, but honestly, he's still talking. He claims his coat shrunk with him, which is a weird excuse, but everyone seems to buy it. Asuka Ren steps forward, and this dude immediately recognizes her. She's someone Michio mentioned. He asks where they are, and she just stares him down, saying she doesn't recall telling him anything. Michio told her about him, and she wants him to lead the way, but she's giving off major vibes. The group starts moving through the forest, and it's straight up creepy with all the glowing stuff. Everyone looks shaken, and you can tell they're all on edge after that whole ordeal. He's still trying to process everything, saying his insides feel twisted. Can't blame him, TBH. Asuka Ren is still giving him the side eye, and you know something's about to go down. But she doesn't say anything, and they just keep walking deeper into the forest. The suspense is killing me. Asuka Ren demands to know how he knows the locations of Peaceland, and bro is clearly rattled. He answers okay, but Guillaume interrupts, and honestly the tension is thick. Asuka's face is all intense close-up, and you can tell she's not buying a single word he says. He claims he can escape if he's alone, but then he stomps off, and it's super dramatic. Suddenly, this massive, creepy figure appears, and it's giving major villain energy. The figure says he's grown small, which is just rude, but also kinda ominous. Huge blade descends, and our boy is barely dodging. This is getting intense. He's threatening to stomp them like bugs, but Guillaume looks genuinely scared. He thinks even a small fry like this guy looks scary now, and it's a hilarious observation. Guillaume yells his name, but Asuka's expression is unreadable. Something's definitely up. No way, giant insects are attacking, and it's absolute chaos. A mantis, a dragonfly, and something even bigger. This dude is getting swatted around like a fly, and it's all happening so fast, straight up terrifying. He's yelling at them to stop, but they don't care, and honestly, he kinda deserves it. Asuka and Guillaume are getting targeted too. This bug attack is a full-on free-for-all. Black-winged insect is massive, and it's swooping in for the kill, but our boy is trying to protect everyone. Someone shouts, "Hold on, mister," but it looks like he's about to get flattened. The tension is insane. He's dodging the attacks, but the insect is relentless, and the wind pressure is knocking everyone around. This dude is getting blasted back, and it's a brutal hit. He's clearly struggling. He's trying to stand his ground, but another attack is coming, and it's a direct hit. Ouch. He's spitting up blood, but still trying to fight. Our boy is seriously tough, but this is getting desperate. The masked dude swings his sword, and it's a full-on die moment, brutal straight up. Our boy realizes even a graze from that blade is a death sentence, and he's seriously panicking. Everything explodes in debris and dust. It's total chaos, and he's trying to shield himself. The masked guy tells someone to go after the others, leaving our boy to deal with whatever this is. The attacker lunges again, and our boy is barely dodging. It's a whirlwind of blades and near misses. He shouts he won't let them, but then a blue energy starts crackling around him. Something's activating. A notification pops up, Stigma Shikigami LV1 has been activated. What does that even mean? Blue energy and green leaves erupt, forming some kind of protective barrier, and it's wild. The attacker's blade slams into the barrier, but it holds. The power-up actually worked. Our boy is still getting pushed back, but he's got a fighting chance now. This is getting good. No way, a constellation, the onmyoji of contradictions, just blessed our boy with power. His constellation speaks, telling him to prioritize the safety of his allies over his own. Deep. Our boy is stunned, realizing a constellation is actually talking to him, and it's a total game changer. The constellation asks for a favor to kill the serpent, but our boy gets a seriously bad feeling. Suddenly, the masked dude attacks, and it's a brutal, fast strike, but our boy is ready. He parries the attack, and the force sends them both flying. This fight is getting intense. The masked dude lands furious and straight up yells about the incarnations of Japan. What's that about? Our boy's got a plan. He's using the constellation's power to protect everyone, and it looks awesome. He's taking the hits, and the masked dude is seriously confused. This dude is playing 4D chess. But the masked dude isn't backing down, and he's launching another attack. It's a clash of wills. Our boy's not thrilled with the constellation's deal. He wants more mana recovery first, and honestly, same. The constellation actually delivers, granting him a tiny bit of mana. It's a minuscule amount, but it's something. He stands there, silent, processing everything. A constellation just helped him. This is wild. But the masked dude is getting impatient, clearly annoyed by this sudden pause in the fight. Pildu Gong is straight up going all out, activating this insane military fortress thing. The fortress is unfolding, layers of red tech expanding like some kind of match transformation. It's getting bigger and bigger. This thing is huge, and honestly, it looks intimidating. We get a system message, Pildu Gong activated Stigma, militarized fortress at level 1, so it's just getting started. The fortress fully deploys, revealing massive cannons and armor, and our boy is standing right in front of it. But wait, someone just trespassed on private property, triggering another system message talk about bad timing. This dude can't believe he's seeing that trespass message. He's actually glad someone showed up. He's shocked, saying what, but he's secretly relieved, and we're left wondering why. He's clearly expecting a fight, and honestly, with that fortress activated, a fight is definitely coming. He's bracing himself, ready for whatever's about to happen, and the tension is building. Okay, so the fortress opens fire, blasting everyone with red energy, and people are getting wrecked. Someone yells my eyes as the light explodes, and it's straight up chaos right now. This dude is totally confused, asking what's going on as the fortress keeps blasting. Red energy streaks everywhere, and he's dodging like a pro, but it's getting intense. He's trying to figure out what's happening, but honestly, it's just a massive light show. We get a full look at the fortress. It's a gigantic, glowing red machine of destruction. Our boy stands defiant, looking up at the fortress, completely unfazed by the attack. He realizes this isn't just a military zone, but a full-blown fortress, which is a little extra. He admits it's a bit shabby, but still a fortress, and then drops a bomb. Pildu Gong's stigma level is insane. The enemy army charges forward, yelling, and it's about to be a massive showdown, no doubt. Okay, so the enemy army charges, and this dude just casually declares this land is his property. He unleashes a massive blast of energy, absolutely obliterating the front lines of the attacking force. The enemy commander is furious, yelling about how this land can't legally belong to him. Talk about nerve. But our boy doesn't even acknowledge the complaint, just keeps unleashing more and more energy blasts. The enemy army is getting mowed down, and honestly, they should have thought twice before trespassing. He's just standing there, radiating power, while the fortress continues to fire on the remaining soldiers. The attacks are relentless, and the enemy forces are falling left and right. It's a total slaughter. He's completely unfazed, just calmly stating his ownership as the fortress keeps raining destruction. The enemy commander is screaming at him, but seriously, what did he expect would happen? Our boy is straight up dismantling an entire army, and it's glorious. This is why he's the main character. The demon commander yells they're retreating, like seriously giving up already. But then someone shouts they won and defeated the catastrophe, and the mood instantly flips. Everyone's cheering, celebrating the victory, and it's a total hype moment. Finally, some good news. We get a closer look at the main guy, and he's got this smug, satisfied grin on his face, honestly. Suddenly, a monstrous roar echoes, and things take a dark turn. No way, not now. The crowd erupts in another cheer, yelling horror, but this feels off, super off. He stands tall amidst the celebrating army, radiating power, but that roar is getting closer. Someone's running away in the background, and honestly, this dude probably knew this was coming. We see a sea of soldiers still cheering, completely unaware of the danger looming over them. However, the celebration is short-lived. Something massive is about to crash the party for sure. Okay, so the celebration gets interrupted. A shadowy figure appears, and it's Dorja Kim, no less. This dude straight up walks towards the enemy and starts trash-talking him about making it this far. Dorja Kim is not impressed, responding with a nasty insult about his looks, rude. He grabs Dorja Kim's arm, and it's clear this isn't a friendly greeting. Tension is building fast. But wait, Dorja Kim reveals he was run over by a bus full of survivors. What a twist. Dorja Kim is seriously messed up, and our boy realizes he's dealing with a whole new level of crazy. He's analyzing the situation, but Dorja Kim is just staring him down with that terrifying smile. Dorja Kim continues to taunt him, and honestly, this guy is a total psycho. The scene shifts, and it's clear Dorja Kim is holding something back, a hidden power maybe. Our boy is definitely feeling the pressure, realizing this fight is going to be way more than he bargained for. Okay, so they all woke up in the middle of a forest. It's super confusing for everyone. One of the guys asks what's happening, but someone else remembers a friend, Pildu, drowning dark. This older dude is losing it, convinced they're in some fantasy novel. He's not wrong, TBH. Our boy tries to explain they're somewhere they shouldn't be, but it's falling on deaf ears. Someone asks if they've been called goddesses before, and things get even weirder. What is going on? The older guy is spiraling, demanding to know what is it. He's totally freaking out. Suddenly, a man apologizes for not taking better care of them. Wait, what does that mean? He's saying he's sorry, but honestly, this feels less like an apology and more like a threat. The man's face is super intense, and it's clear something messed up happened to bring them here. Our boy is looking so determined, like he's ready to take control of the situation, which is good because they need him. So the older guy is thanking them for rescuing him, but it's super awkward, like really awkward. He straight up demands they start taking better care of him now, and honestly, the audacity. Our boy gifts the defense master 5,000 coins, trying to smooth things over clearly. The defense master reluctantly accepts, then admits he doesn't really vibe with anyone here. They all realize they've shrunk, like seriously, noticeably smaller. What is even happening? This dude is spiraling, questioning why they'd forfeit a catastrophe to become tiny. He's convinced there's a reason they chose to shrink instead of facing whatever was coming. Our boy is piecing it together, realizing something huge is about to go down. He wonders why these two specifically shrank, what makes them different. But then it hits him, they didn't just shrink, they avoided something terrible. No way. Everyone's freaking out, they just barely escaped something huge, and our boy and his friend are the heroes. Someone thanks them for saving everyone, but it's quickly followed by a realization. Pildu and Saeon are the only reason they're alive. They all agree if it wasn't for those two, they'd be straight up dead, and honestly, that's a big mood. The group is huddled together, and it's clear they are all looking to our boy and Saeon for answers now. Okay, so things are intense. A new main scenario drops, and it's a straight-up S-class difficulty mission. The mission, fight alongside the small people to defeat this huge catastrophe attacking the planet of Peaceland, and they only give them 40 days. Everyone's gathered, and they've checked the updated mission window. It's all about protecting the castle until the scenario ends. Here's the kicker, they're told not to fight the catastrophe head-on, and Kim Dokja, our boy, must run, even if it means abandoning Veronica. He's promising to leave her, and she's demanding he swear he'll do it, which is heartbreaking because she's clearly not okay with it. He agrees, and honestly, it's a tough call, but they both know survival is the priority, even if it means making impossible choices. Someone volunteers to go with them. They're saying they'll stick with Dokja and the others, not go it alone. A woman with fiery red hair steps forward, asserting she's joining them, and she looks seriously determined. This dude, Kim Dokja, is making some serious decisions, and it looks like they're prepping to move out to escape. They're ready to leave. It's a desperate scramble for survival, and I have a feeling things are about to get way more complicated. Okay, so they're planning their escape route, heading east towards strangely shaped rocks, but Japan already controls that area. Kim Dokja knows it's a bad idea, but he agrees to go anyway, because honestly, what other choice do they have? The red-haired woman straight up asks if he trusts her, and he gives this super intense look. It's not a yes. But she's hoping he'll pay her back for something, and it's clear there's a complicated history here. She's not expecting trust, just repayment, and that's a huge difference. This is getting messy. They're pushing through a dense forest, and it's giving me major creepy vibes, like something's watching them. She's definitely regretting this and is already asking what he wants in return, but Dokja just keeps walking. He's basically saying he'll use her if he needs to, cold but efficient, and honestly, that's Dokja for you. She's clearly not thrilled, but she's sticking with it. This alliance is built on shaky ground for sure. They keep moving deeper into the forest, and I'm telling you, something's about to jump out. I can feel it. Okay, so the woman asks if they are going after the king of catastrophes, the big bad, and Dokja's like, duh. She's worried the scenario won't end unless they kill him, and Dokja is so ready for that, it's kinda scary. A system message pops up, revealing this little savior scenario is an S-rank difficulty. No pressure, right? Conditions: fight alongside normal people to defeat these catastrophes attacking this planet of Peaceland. Another system message details the enemy, the king of catastrophes, plus some million-year-old bug monster named Yamamoto Hajime. The woman's freaking out. This is way above their pay grade, and she's starting to regret trusting Dokja. She asks if she can trust these people with the info, wondering how much to reveal. Smart move, honestly. Dokja casually drops that he was hoping she'd tell him all this. This dude is playing 4D chess, I swear. She bites her lip, clearly conflicted, but seems resigned to the fact she's stuck with him. But honestly, she's realizing Dokja knew all along. This is a power move, and it's kinda brilliant. Okay, so they just figured out the king of catastrophes is Izumi Hiroki, the white demon king. No way. But here's the twist: Izumi isn't just a catastrophe, he decided to become one this time around. The woman realizes this isn't happening in the original story, and Dokja's like, don't worry about it, so chill. She's clearly upset, saying she's to blame for what happened to Izumi, and honestly, it sounds like she feels terrible. She explains that Izumi was against fighting normal people, believing it would repeat past mistakes. But Dokja straight up calls that thinking idiotic. This dude does not have time for moral dilemmas. The woman is shocked to hear that, but Dokja isn't backing down. He's got a plan, and he's sticking to it. Now a bunch of soldiers are marching, ready to fight, and it seems they're planning to attack civilians. Izumi's troops are clearly against fighting the little people. They don't want a repeat of Earth's tragedies. However, Dokja doesn't care. He's pushing forward with whatever he's planning, and things are about to get messy. Dokja just obliterates a dude with a blast and casually asks why they do things the hard way. Iconic. A soldier cries out in fear as another guy looks on, clearly shocked by what just happened. The leader of this group, some shadowy figure, is just standing there, a creepy smile on his face. We get a glimpse of his leg, and it's all fancy shoes and dark attire. This guy is definitely a villain. The woman explains a note said to spare the small people, but the leader sent another ordering the opposite. She's confused, but Dokja doesn't get it either. He's calling this whole situation ridiculous. She questions if team lives don't matter more than random civilians, and it's a valid point. The leader just replies, well, and honestly, that's terrifying. The woman is clearly frustrated and doesn't understand Dokja at all. Can't say I blame her. This dude is playing 4D chess, and everyone else is just trying to survive. It's intense. Okay, so Dokja's power is barely affecting this Yamamoto guy. Straight up no effect. Yamamoto's going wild, unleashing a huge burst of energy, and Dokja's like, stop it. But Yamamoto doesn't listen, continuing his attack, and someone's clearly shocked by the scene. This dude Yamamoto is radiating power, and it's genuinely terrifying. Look at that glow. Someone yells out in shock, and honestly, can you blame them? This is a disaster. We get a close-up of the shadowy leader. He looks genuinely unhinged, eyes wide and crazy. The leader is spouting some nonsense about being unfortunate, and it's honestly just creepy. Suddenly, the leader gets launched backward, and everything goes black. No way. Then, a purple energy explodes, and we see the leader tumbling through the air. What even happened? Someone cries out ugh as the scene fades to black. This just got real intense, bro. Okay, so Yamamoto's going full power, and it's absolute chaos, swords flying everywhere. This leader is straight up declaring that nations like Korea and Japan don't matter anymore. Talk about a power trip. He says the only teams left are, well, the ones who can handle catastrophes. Ominous much. He's ranting about how everyone is small and insignificant, but our boy Dokja isn't backing down. He's ready to fight. Yamamoto's about to strike, but the leader's blocking. It's a clash of titans, and honestly, it's epic. Okay, so things are intense. This dude Yo H-Wan is straight up losing it, crying, freaking out, the whole 9 yards. He's desperately sketching out the battle scene, trying to recreate it exactly as it happened in the novel, but it's clearly taking a toll. He's sketching so hard, tears are literally dripping onto the paper, and he's clutching his hand in pain. This is rough. But here's the twist, he's not just drawing for fun, he's trying to change the story, to rewrite the outcome of the battle. And honestly, it's working. The scene in the sketch starts to shift, to alter itself based on what he's drawing. He's focused on changing the fate of a soldier, and the world around him seems to ripple with the effort. It's wild. But it's not just him affecting things, another player is using a similar power, messing with the scene from a distance. This other player, though, is drawing chaos and destruction, completely opposite of what our boy is trying to do. It's a full-on power struggle, 2 artists battling it out to control the narrative, and the scene is getting super distorted. Yo H-Wan looks up, a creepy smile spreading across his face. He's got a plan, and it's probably insane, but I'm here for it. Yo H-Wan's laying down the law, explaining to everyone that he created the comic world as payback. He admits there were too many Ice Guy stories popping up, so he made a classic fantasy comic instead. No way. Okay, so he killed off all those minor characters without hesitation in the comic, but now he can't do it. Someone asks if that's why he was against killing the small people, and it totally is, bro. He's ranting about the world building being shoddy, demanding they make the characters stronger to begin with. But here's the kicker, he's saying they need to rewrite the story to give those characters a fighting chance. The red-haired dude is losing it, totally shocked that Yo H-Wan has this kind of power. He explains that Yo H-Wan is a legit artist with the power to control the narrative. It's insane. The red-haired guy is questioning everything, demanding to know why Yo H-Wan didn't strengthen them earlier. But Yo H-Wan just stares him down, completely unbothered. This dude is cold. Okay, so the red-haired dude is straight up insulting Yo H-Wan's writing, saying it's trash. Yo H-Wan fires back, claiming red hair is one to talk about a comeback. The woman steps in, explaining to Dokja that counts actually can talk to dukes in this world. Red hair is losing it, completely shocked by this casual power dynamic. The drama is real. He's crying now, tears streaming down his face, and honestly, it's a little over the top. Yo H-Wan explains his wish to the Dokja probably got twisted, creating this messed up scenario. Someone points out Yo H-Wan's imagination is wild. You gotta admit, this dude thinks big. But red hair is still spiraling, refusing to believe this is awesome Dokja wish fulfillment. Dokja chimes in, saying TWSA never explained why Peaceland was chosen, so mysterious. Dokja and Yo H-Wan are both curious about the selection process, and honestly same. Yo H-Wan gets a mysterious email, it's from the apocalypse and says save all. No way. Red hair is reeling, babbling about how he's dying and doesn't have time for answers. Dokja's suddenly moving, drawing a blade. He's acting before anyone can react. He's slashing at red hair, but the dude dodges with insane speed, creating a whirlwind of attacks. Dokja's going all out, blades flying everywhere. It's a chaotic whirlwind of steel. The woman is shocked, yelling what, as Dokja attacks, but he's clearly got a plan. Dokja's movements are so fast, the blades are practically invisible, slicing through the air. He's aiming for the floating constellations around red hair, and honestly, that's genius. The constellations shatter with a pish. Dokja straight up destroyed them. Dokja and red hair are locked in a furious clash, blades meeting in a blinding storm of sparks. Dokja and the woman are dodging attacks from these shadowy figures. They're fast, and they clearly knew they were coming. The woman realizes these are the Wind Shadow Squadron, a squad of non-humans who worship Izumi, which is concerning. She explains that they're masters at stealth, and Dokja's already figured out they're targeting him straight up. But the woman's getting hurt, and Dokja yells at her to keep moving. He's gotta protect her, even while fighting. Suddenly, a mysterious figure appears, and the woman's like, "That's Kyrios the returnee. What does that mean?" The woman tells Dokja to handle this because she's clearly about to bail. She's a master at playing dead, apparently. Just like that, she's gone, leaving our boy to face Kyrios alone. Smooth move, lady, smooth move. Kyrios is radiating power, and Dokja's bracing for a fight, but he's got that look in his eyes, he knows something. Dokja's recalling a story detail. Apparently, Kyrios is the one who destroyed Peaceland. No way. Dokja realizes he's been played, and honestly, this dude is not happy about it. Dokja explodes with rage, demanding to know where Kyrios is. This dude is furious. Turns out the novel only mentions Kyrios being in Peaceland during this time, but he doesn't actually appear. The woman admits she expected Dokja to freak out, but she has no idea where Kyrios came from. She's straight up panicking, realizing she never created a character this powerful. All her characters are weak. A red-haired man bursts in, asking if Kyrios is a powerful figure from Peaceland. What is happening? Dokja attacks the red hair, and the fight is on. Swords clash and sparks fly everywhere. However, shadowy figures emerge, and they're clearly targeting Dokja. These guys are relentless. The woman realizes these shadowy figures are the ones Siam failed to stop. She's connecting the dots. But this is a trap because a massive explosion rocks the area, and everything goes white. Dokja lays down some serious truth. Peaceland's publication stopped after 11 episodes, and it never even got a book release because of publisher issues. He's pointing out that the comic, the source material for all this, isn't exactly a classic novel. Ouch, burn. But before anyone can react, shadowy figures descend, and they're swarming Dokja. It's a full-on ambush. The woman suddenly realizes these are the creatures Siam couldn't eliminate, and she's finally connecting the dots, but it's too late. However, a huge explosion erupts, blinding everyone. Talk about a dramatic exit and a perfect distraction for Kyrios. Okay, so things are intense. This dude is straight up attacking someone with a sword. He's unleashing some serious energy. A massive spark flies as the blade connects. But wait, he immediately regrets it, realizing who he just attacked and needs their forgiveness. Everything goes wild, vines are whipping around, and it's a total chaotic mess. No way this is good. The vines are wrapping around everyone, and honestly, it looks like a seriously bad situation unfolding. These vines are like huge, and they're completely engulfing the scene in a golden glow. We get a super close look at those vines. They're twisting and tangled, obscuring everything. The scene is getting darker, and the vines are becoming more menacing. It's a total nightmare. Someone is trapped within the vines, looking completely shocked, and things are escalating fast. This dude is wielding a sword, looking ready for a fight, and yells out in surprise, "What's happening?" Okay, so our boy is falling through the air, trying to protect someone else. Total hero move. He's desperately trying to shield her, but these vines are relentless and everywhere. She's yelling at him to go this way. She clearly knows something he doesn't, and it's urgent. We get a super close-up of his face, and he looks seriously scared, but determined to keep going. Then a creepy face appears, golden eyes and a sinister grin, straight up terrifying. Suddenly, a booming voice echoes, "Who goes there?" Talk about dramatic timing. They're running for their lives, dodging vines and trying to escape whatever made that voice. The vines are still attacking, but they're also glowing. This whole situation is wild. He's protecting her, and honestly, this dude is putting in work despite everything going wrong. But as they run, a massive figure descends from above, shrouded in darkness. Uh-oh. He's demanding to know who's there, but the massive figure sends a shockwave straight at them. Our boy barely manages to shield the girl, taking the brunt of the attack. Ouch. She's getting thrown back, but she's yelling at him to look. Something's appearing in the sky. No way, a blinding light descends, and she shouts about being born on Peaceland. He's clearly piecing things together, realizing this whole situation is connected to that place. But the light intensifies and the figure's voice booms again, demanding to know who dares trespass. This dude is getting slammed with a wave of power, and it looks like his arm is breaking. Yikes. The figure's attack is relentless, and honestly, it's pure chaos with lightning everywhere. He's desperately trying to hold on, but the force is overwhelming. This is bad, really bad. However, the girl suddenly activates some kind of power, a protective barrier forming around them. This dude, Kyojios, is straight up towering over them, looking down with this intense stare. He's talking about demon kings refusing to become constellations, heavy stuff. And even dragons, the apex predators, aren't immune to this fate. Wow. But the real question is, what about humans? Can they even reach that level of power? He's lost in thought, questioning if humans could ever oppose a constellation. It's a big ask. Suddenly, Kyojios floats down and someone calls out his name with respect, a little too much respect. Girl's friend is getting yanked away and she's yelling for help. This is getting chaotic. Kyojios says he'll let them go, impressed by their courage, but they need to leave. He's telling them to take their friend and get out of his sight. Pretty direct, honestly. But the girl is defiant, refusing to back down, even facing someone this powerful. Our girl's got guts. Kyojios is questioning this guy, demanding to know what force is protecting him. It's intense. The black-haired dude, apparently a demon king, is furious at being underestimated. This is about to escalate. No way, he's grabbing the girl, shielding her from whatever's coming, total protective mode. He's unleashing some serious power, glowing eyes and all, and Kyojios is actually surprised. Wow. Kyojios admits the world needs help and asks if this is why our boy came, a classic hero's call. The Demon King cuts in, asking if Kyojios lured him here on purpose, suspicious much. Kyojios straight up denies it, saying he just wanted to test his strength. Sketchy, dude, really sketchy. He's talking about how the Demon King isn't a true constellation, just a fragment. Ouch, burn. The Demon King is furious, unleashing a wave of energy, and Kyojios casually deflects it with a flick of his wrist. Kyojios is impressed, admitting this power is intriguing and starts questioning its source. This dude loves a mystery. The little constellation is straight up crying, staring at Kyojios with tears streaming down her face. So sad. She's completely shocked and Kyojios is just there, looking all powerful and stoic. Kyojios drops a total truth bomb. All things end, even stories, and this planet is no exception. He's holding the girl close and declares this planet's time is up. Talk about a dramatic exit. The black-haired dude, clearly upset, demands to know why Kyojios returned after leaving so long ago. Kyojios is unbothered, claiming he has no fond memories of this place. Cold man, so cold. He's getting straight up defensive, questioning if Kyojios came back to protect his home planet. The tension. He accuses this planet of making him weak, and the black-haired dude is not having it. Kyojios is all up in his face, and this dude is about to explode. Things are about to get messy. Kyojios reveals this planet brought him into the world and calls it a cursed body. Ouch, talk about baggage. The black-haired dude is not amused, telling Kyojios to watch his words and starts grinding his teeth. Major warning signs. Kyojios asks if he's scared, but quickly clarifies he's talking about those constellations who mess with their world. No way. Kyojios unleashes a massive blast, and the black-haired dude gets sent flying through the air. He crashes through everything and barely manages to yell "Ugh" before impact. That looked painful. Kyojios, still chilling, states if this dude wants to die, he'll happily grant that wish. Cold-blooded much. Blue energy crackles everywhere, and the black-haired dude is surrounded by lightning. It's getting intense. A shadowy figure emerges from the lightning, looking straight up terrifying. This is a new level of power. The figure stands tall, eyes glowing, as lightning continues to strike around him. Our boy is seriously leveling up. Kyrio's Rodgrame is straight up losing it, power crackling around him like he's about to explode. He's got this intense look on his face like he's made a huge decision, and honestly, it's kinda scary. Kyrio's drops to one knee before the mysterious figure, begging to be taken on as a disciple. No way. But hold up, the Constellations are not happy about this, apparently protesting his interference in the scenario. Everyone's chiming in, saying Kyrio's has some peculiar fans, the Monkey King and an Archangel. Seriously. Kyrio's admits he can't save the planet alone, which is a huge reveal, and feels super vulnerable. He explains that if he intervenes, everyone else gets a chance to help, which is a massive power shift. He's unleashing the white storm of paradox, and the name alone sounds terrifying, doesn't it? Our boy left his home planet after so much hardship, returning only to realize he's too powerful to fix things. But even with all that power, he can't just snap his fingers and save the day. It's a frustrating realization. Kairio straight up rejects the guy's request to be his disciple, saying he's not worthy of his power. But this dude isn't backing down, revealing he bought a hidden skill after the last scenario. Suddenly, white star energy erupts from his hands. It's a power Kairios hasn't seen before, and he's shook. Kairios realizes who this is, the master of the White Storm School, a legend from his home world. We get a flashback on his phone. Kairios was a returnee from another world who became incredibly powerful. The text explains Kairios took down all sorts of enemies, even those bigger than him. What a legend. Kairios is unleashing some serious power, and honestly, it's a bit intimidating. He's saying he'll help, but it's not a simple fix. It's a complicated situation, and he knows it. Kairios is powering up, energy swirling around him, and he looks determined to face whatever comes next. However, he's not just doing this for himself. He's giving everyone else a chance to step up too. It's a power shift. Kairios explains his power shrunk after being stored in his infinite dimension code, classic space-time shenanigans. The woman with black hair is not impressed, accusing him of hoarding all the good stuff for himself. Seriously. The red-haired dude jumps in, questioning who the strongest actually is, but hinting Kairios is definitely up there. He reveals Kairios accepted him as a disciple, which is huge. Apparently, it took 2 whole hours to convince him. Kairios says it's good he took the red-haired guy under his wing, and it's clear he's setting expectations high. The red-haired dude drops a bomb. Kairios was a returnee himself and a total legend in his previous world. We get a quick flashback of Kairios demolishing enemies left and right. This guy is a straight-up powerhouse. Kairios is amping up his power, and honestly, it's terrifying and awesome all at once. He accepts the red-haired dude as his disciple, and honestly, it feels like a massive power move. But this dude had them waiting for 2 hours just to drop that bomb. Kairios is ruthless. The woman with black hair is questioning the timing, asking if returning to Veronica Castle is still the priority. Suddenly, a shadowy figure moves in, and it looks like someone's about to get wrecked. No way. The figure delivers a brutal strike, and a piece of armor goes flying. Talk about making an entrance. Kairios is unfazed, stating the attack was too slow. This dude is playing a whole different game. He reveals the attacker is someone who tried to kill him in the past, and things are about to get personal. Kairios effortlessly deflects another attack, and it's clear he's holding back. This is scary. Then the armor piece clatters to the ground, a clear signal this fight is about to escalate quickly. Kairios tells the red-haired disciple to put on these special bands, made from Peaceland's ore. But these aren't just accessories, they are metallic training bands that restrict his movement. Click, the bands lock into place, and the disciple looks instantly shocked. This is intense. Kairios casually says these are the lightest bands he has, then suddenly launches a sword attack. The disciple barely reacts as the blade flies towards him. It's a test, a super fast one. Whoosh, the disciple is sent flying backwards, crashing into the rocky terrain. Ouch. Kairios drops a bombshell. Repeat this stab 1,000,000 times 1,000,000. The disciple is floored, questioning if it's just a basic stab, and Kairios confirms it is. Yes, 1,000,000 times, Kairios says flatly. This dude is serious about training. We get a close-up of Kairios, and he's mastering the arts of the White Storm School. Talk about dedication. Kairios drops some serious philosophical knowledge. He sees something the disciple doesn't get. The disciple is totally lost, questioning what Kairios even means. Bro is confused, honestly. It's the second day of training, and Kairios launches into a whole speech about perspective. He straight up says those born big don't understand what it means to be small, deep stuff. Then Kairios starts swinging that massive sword, and the disciple barely has time to react. Kairios explains humans aren't that big in the grand scheme of things, they're just dust. He argues calling small people small is wrong because everyone's tiny compared to the universe. Kairios insists the smaller you are, the closer you get to understanding the universe. No way. The disciple is running, trying to keep up, but Kairios says this exercise is about more than just speed. Kyrios reveals he doesn't normally associate with people like the disciple. Ouch, burn. It's the 5th day of training and Kyrios is laying down the law. He's not impressed with this disciple. He straight up says the disciple would have been better off born as an insect, and even a cockroach would learn faster. The disciple is shocked and asks to have a cockroach as his master instead. Talk about a low point. Kyrios just reacts with what? This dude is not amused, not even a little bit. 2 weeks of training have passed, and Kyrios is clearly testing the limits of this poor guy. Kyrios is lost in thought, looking off into the distance. He's remembering something important. He's puzzled about how the disciple even managed to master the white pure star energy. What's the deal? The disciple claims he read a book of secrets and the energy just came to him. Seems simple enough. But he quickly adds he's not lying because he read TWSA, the infamous story, no doubt. Kyrios is silent, processing this info. This could change everything, honestly. Someone calls Kyrios out, saying he has a weird way of showing he cares for his disciple. Ouch, a direct hit. Kyrios scoffs and claims he's just afraid the disciple will tarnish the White Storm School's name. But come on. The disciple is thinking Kyrios is just like a character from TWSA, and suddenly, Kyrios' understanding of him increases. This is huge. Kyrios is clearly connecting the dots, and it's changing everything. No way. Okay, so it's late, leaves are falling, and everything feels super ominous, like seriously creepy vibes. A guard spots something moving and shouts that they're coming, and straight up starts stomping toward the danger. The stomping intensifies as the guard runs, but something's definitely chasing him, something fast. The guard is gaining on whatever's out there, but honestly, it feels like a trap. No way. A monstrous figure drops from the shadows, all teeth and glowing red eyes, letting out a terrifying growl. This thing is huge, and it's lunging right at the guard, who's totally caught off guard. The monster's claws are out, and it's closing in fast. It looks like the guard isn't gonna make it. Our boy's about to get shredded, but then, wait for it, the monster's attack is interrupted by something else. Whatever stopped it is powerful, and honestly, the scene is a total blur of motion and energy. But this isn't over because the monster is still there, still angry, and still a massive threat. Okay, so it's chaos. Everyone's scrambling to retreat across the doggy bridge. It's a full-blown evacuation. But the monster isn't letting anyone escape. It's unleashing a massive attack right at the bridge. And boom, the bridge takes a direct hit, sending debris flying everywhere and people tumbling. This dude, a bald man, is absolutely furious, screaming at whoever caused this destruction. More monsters appear and they're all roaring that this land belongs to them, super territorial. Battle is raging, monsters are getting blasted left and right, but they just keep coming. Our boy's jumping into the fray, dodging attacks and looking straight up determined to protect everyone. He's fighting like a madman, but he's clearly frustrated. He can't believe they underestimated this scenario. However, the monsters are overwhelming and he's getting pushed back, taking some serious damage. But he's not giving up. He's got to keep fighting because, honestly, the fate of everyone rests on his shoulders. Someone asks if they've heard anything from Sangha or Huiwen. They're worried about where those two are. Apparently, they think Sangha and Huiwen are stuck in another scenario happening on Earth right now. No way. This guy is freaking out, talking about how Dokja said there's another scenario unfolding somewhere else too. They're still working on the moat, trying to finish it up, but it's taking forever, honestly. Someone jumps up and says they are halfway done and it'll be filled with water soon. Progress finally. But the moment of relief doesn't last because a swarm of these giant insect monsters starts descending from the sky. Our boy's staring up at them, completely shocked. This is a whole new level of messed up. The swarm is massive, filling the sky, and they're diving straight for the people working on the moat. He tries to intercept, leaping forward to protect them, but there are just too many of these things. They're swarming over everyone, and this dude gets completely engulfed by a giant insect. It's brutal. This dude is losing it, realizing they're completely outnumbered by the insect swarm. It's a disaster. A bald guy straight up yells fight and launches himself into the fray, an old man right behind him. The bald guy is a monster, swinging and smashing insects left and right, but even he's getting overwhelmed. However, the insects are relentless and they start to tear through the defenses, pushing back the fighters. The old man gets swarmed and it looks grim, but the bald guy grabs him, trying to pull him to safety. He's desperately trying to protect everyone, but the sheer number of insects is just insane, honestly. A figure descends from the sky, wielding a weapon, and slices through the insects like it's nothing. This dude's weapon is glowing, cutting down monsters, but even he's barely making a dent in the swarm. But then suddenly the insects start retreating. They're flying away from something in the distance. We cut to a desolate mountain range and someone or something is walking towards them, shrouded in darkness. Kyrios arrives and the insects scatter. This dude is straight up terrifying even to bugs. His eyes glow with this intense white light, and everyone is realizing they messed with the wrong guy. You get a close-up of Kyrios' armor. It's all sharp edges and dark colors, seriously intimidating. A massive rumble shakes the ground, and a dark shape rises in the distance. Something big is happening. The group realizes Kyrios must have noticed they're gone, and they start panicking, trying to run. One of the guys is like, "We should hurry," but honestly, it's probably too late. Another dude is yelling about how this is the first time this has happened, and we're all confused. They're running for their lives, but Kyrios is gaining on them, and he looks furious. The narration drops a bomb. Apparently, the author always uses the phrase "as handsome as Yu" to describe good-looking characters. And of course, Kyrios is the perfect example, no surprise there. Our boy is a total heartthrob. Someone staggers, barely holding on, and blurts out that the sovereign of 8 heads is moving. He's commanding all the catastrophes to gather at the absolute throne. Things are about to get real bad. This guy with the red hair is clutching his chest, sweating, and practically begging to resist the sovereign's commands. He chose to become small to stay hidden, but those who become catastrophes, that's a problem. Everything goes dark, then we get a terrifying glimpse of a monstrous figure, red eyes and horns, no way. The figure is huge, and honestly it's all teeth and fury, straight up nightmare fuel. The group is shocked. They need to figure out what's going on at the front lines and fast. But before they can even plan, the monstrous figure starts moving, and it's heading right for them. One of them is trying to assess the situation, but it's looking grim. They are totally outmatched. However, the woman with black hair steps up. She's going to check out the front lines herself. Our girl is a leader. Kyrios is losing it, babbling about already taking a life, and it's intense, honestly. He's practically begging someone to stop the sovereign, but it's clear he's spiraling, bro. The woman with black hair is kneeling, trying to calm Kyrios, while another woman goes to scout ahead. One of their crew tries to figure out a plan, but the situation is hopeless. They're trapped. However, a silver-haired dude bursts onto the scene, looking ready for a fight. Things are about to get wild. Okay, so things are bad. They're at this castle, and it's covered in blood. Straight up a massacre happens. Our boy Dokja and his crew are shocked, realizing something terrible has gone down while they were traveling. The scene shifts to this massive, ominous castle looming against a weird, glowing sky. It's not a good sign. Dokja starts running toward the castle, but the atmosphere is super unsettling, with leaves falling and strange lights. He's pushing forward, determined to figure out what happened, but everything feels off, like a trap is waiting. One of their allies is bleeding out, and she's asking what's going on, totally confused by the sudden attack. Another ally is also covered in blood, demanding to know what happened. They were fine just a moment ago, no way. She explains they were ambushed inside the castle, and honestly, it sounds like a total slaughter happened. Scene cuts back to the castle courtyard, showing bodies everywhere. It's brutal, and they're clearly outmatched. And it's just a complete bloodbath. This dude really walked into a nightmare, and I'm stressed for him. Someone kicks, and it's a brutal sound, like really impactful, honestly. A foot comes crashing down, smashing through everything, and it's a total disaster. The fight is on. It's chaos with explosions and sword clashes, super intense. Another kick lands, and this dude is getting absolutely destroyed in the middle of the fight. Someone yells to defend Veronica, and everyone's scrambling to protect her now. This guy is losing it, saying if this keeps up, they're doomed. No chill at all. Archers are dropping, and it's a grim sight. This is a full-scale ambush, seriously. Nishio Shoji uses this insane flying squirrel walk skill, level 6. What a move. He's flying through the air with his weapon, ready to take on whoever's coming. Our boy's a beast. Michio slices through the attackers, but another one gets the drop on him, straight up ambushed. He's blocking with his sword, but the attack is powerful, and it sends him flying. The blade connects and blood splatters everywhere. It's a brutal hit, no way around it. Someone's launching projectiles and they're aiming for Veronica. Everyone's scrambling to shield her. But it's too late. A metal fist connects with his face and the force is insane. He's reeling, eyes wide with pain, and his face is getting wrecked. Ouch. He's seeing red, activating some kind of power, and honestly, it looks terrifying. He's charging forward, a demonic rage taking over. This dude is about to unleash hell. He's a blur of motion, fists flying, and the enemy is getting absolutely demolished. What a comeback. He screams fire, and for a second it looks like he's about to lose it completely. But then massive energy erupts and the ship around them starts to disintegrate. It's chaos. Blue energy blades slice through everything, and the enemy is getting torn apart. No mercy from this dude. He's unleashing a full-on barrage while another fighter tries to take Veronica down. Bad timing, pal. The energy blasts connect and everything explodes in a brilliant flash. Boom. It's intense. Our boy's still going, sword swinging, energy flaring, and honestly, it's a beautiful disaster. Another massive explosion rocks the ship, and the scene is pure destruction. Kaboom. Veronica's fighter is getting wrecked, sent flying amidst the debris. This dude's in trouble. He's trying to shield himself, but the force is overwhelming. It's a brutal assault. The ship is breaking apart, and they're all caught in the crossfire. Straight up survival mode now. He's getting stabbed, man, multiple times, and it's brutal. No holding back at all. He's fighting back, sword swinging wildly, but he's clearly overwhelmed and covered in blood. Stab, stab, it's a relentless assault, and this dude is going down fast. It's intense. Everything goes black for a second. What? Is he dead? But wait, we get a flash of his face, and he's still alive, though barely conscious and soaked in blood. He pushes himself up, fueled by pure willpower. Our boy refuses to give up. He yells that they can do this, and someone else shouts back with renewed energy, a glimmer of hope. They're both battered and broken, but still fighting. It's a desperate struggle for survival. He's still getting stopped, but he's pushing through the pain. This dude is a machine. Someone shouts that they might actually be able to defend Veronica Castle. A huge moment. Someone yells that there's no way they can stop that thing. It's a massive, monstrous spider. He's desperately trying to hold it off, but it's a losing battle. The spider's just too huge. Another fighter is yelling stop. Two, they're both going all out, but the spider doesn't care. He's getting crushed under the weight of the spider, but he refuses to fall. This dude is unbelievably tough. But the spider keeps coming and the situation looks dire. They're completely overwhelmed. He's pushing himself to the limit, yelling at them to defend Veronica Castle, a last-ditch effort. He's bracing for the impact, and it looks like it's going to be brutal. No time to react. The spider rears back, showing off its horrifying fangs. It's a terrifying sight, seriously. The spider lunges forward, and it's a full-on attack. The battle is reaching its peak. Okay, so things are bad. He's covered in blood, sword in hand, and surrounded by snakes, like a lot of snakes. He's swinging his sword, trying to cut a path through the snake pit, but they just keep coming. It's relentless. Someone's screaming for help, and honestly, it's looking grim for them, caught right in the middle of this mess. He's rushing toward the screams, but a guy gets yanked into the snakes. Our boy is trying to save him. He manages to pull the guy back, but the snakes are closing in fast. It's a desperate struggle. The snakes are huge and terrifying with glowing red eyes. This isn't just a snake pit, it's a nightmare. Another fighter is getting overwhelmed, and it looks like the snakes are crunching down on them. No way. He tries to shield the other fighter, but the snakes are too strong. It's a brutal, chaotic scene. The snakes are literally everywhere, and he's desperately trying to keep everyone safe, but it's a losing battle. Another fighter is screaming, and everything is just red. This is straight up terrifying, and he's stuck in the middle. He's making a power move, forming some kind of hand seal. Things are about to get intense. I can feel it. Oh no, the enemy is cracking, literally cracking. His face is splitting open, and it's terrifying. Something is glitching out. These weird white lines are appearing everywhere. It's like reality is breaking. Wait, the screen is showing a list of renowned catastrophes. This dude is facing some seriously powerful foes. He's seeing the names of the enemies, Izumi Hiroki and Yamamoto Hajime, and they sound absolutely brutal. Okay, so Dokja Kim is straight up demolishing everything, unleashing a massive blast. It's intense. The explosion keeps growing, and it's clear this isn't just some little firecracker. It's a full-blown catastrophe. Everything around him is getting destroyed, buildings crumbling, the whole place is coming down. But despite all the chaos, Dokja's focused trying to hold it together, but he's clearly getting rocked. Stepping through the wreckage, and honestly, this dude is walking through blood, no way. Someone, probably a villain, calls him Dokja Kim, and it's clear they're not happy to see him. This guy's got a sword, a seriously menacing one, and he's clearly ready for a fight. He swings that sword and it's a close call. Dokja barely dodges, but the blade cuts through everything. Dokja's still standing though, and he's definitely not backing down, even with all the danger. Our boy is staring down his opponent, and it's a showdown for the ages. This is gonna be epic. No way, a massive dragon-like creature bursts out of the ground, jaws snapping. It's attacking someone and they're screaming their lungs out. It's brutal. Dokja jumps in front of the attack, protecting whoever's in danger. What a hero. He's deflecting the beast's bite with his sword, but the force is incredible, sending shockwaves. The dragon thing is huge, towering over everything, and Dokja looks tiny in comparison. Dokja tries to slice at the dragon, but it's covered in layers of scales, impenetrable. This dude is getting tossed around like a rag doll, but he's still fighting, refusing to give up. He lands hard, but immediately gets back up, assessing the situation. Our boy is resilient. Another fighter joins the fray, swinging a sword and trying to help Dokja. Teamwork. Dokja's looking at the new ally, and he says, as expected, he knew this would happen. Things are escalating fast. Constellation, the sovereign of 8 heads, is officially hostile towards Dokja. Everyone's getting wrecked, and the Constellations who hate humans are loving it, straight up reveling in the chaos. Dokja's teammate Beyond is going rogue, and he's about to take down the dragon himself, but Dokja won't let him. They argue. Beyond thinks Dokja can't handle it, but Dokja's determined to finish this fight himself. No way. Beyond just grabs a random person and holds them hostage, threatening to kill them if Dokja interferes. Dokja activates his bookmark skill, and a blinding blue light engulfs everything. What's he planning? He's flashing back to his 3 promises to Yuseong, remembering everything that led him here. Dokja promises revenge on the Constellations who killed Yuseong, and bro is serious. This is personal. He's stepping forward, sword raised, and a massive figure looms over him, ready to strike. But Dokja isn't afraid. He's ready to face whatever comes next, and honestly, it's a little inspiring. First, Dokja declares he'll beat up the Dokja to a pulp. Talk about a throwback. Then he reveals his second promise, bringing Yuseong back to life, and it's hitting hard. The third and final promise is the most intense. Dokja vows to avenge Yuseong's death against all the Constellations. The scene shifts and we see a massive chained figure. It's the one who killed Yuseong, straight up terrifying. Dokja's unleashing everything he's got, preparing for a showdown that's been brewing for ages. He's absolutely radiating power, and honestly, it's a little bit intimidating, even for me. This dude is fueled by pure rage and determination. Yuseong's death isn't going to be in vain. Dokja's stance is so fierce, and the purple energy swirling around him is insane. This is it. He's staring down the constellation, and you can feel the weight of his promise in that single look. The air crackles with tension, and Dokja's ready to fight, prepare for a massive clash. Dokja's got a serious problem. The constellation Yamada no Orochi is pissed. He's definitely aware Dokja's making promises, but pretends he doesn't know what's going on. Sparks are flying as Dokja clashes with the constellation's shadow, and things are getting intense. We get a message. Constellation, the sovereign of 8 heads, has been angered. No way, this is good. The shadow of the constellation is massive, and Dokja's bracing for a huge attack. It's overwhelming. Who? The constellation's roar echoes, and it's straight up terrifying. Dokja is facing a god. Dokja swings his sword, launching a powerful attack, but the shadow barely flinches. It's too strong. The shadow lashes out, and Dokja barely dodges. The speed is insane. The narration drops a bomb. Yamada no Orochi is an ancient, evil creature from Japanese myth. It's just a shadow, but it's still unbelievably powerful, and Dokja is realizing how much trouble he's in. This dude, the constellation, is straight up shocked. Dokja brought Tatsuka no Tsurugi to the fight. Dokja calls him out. He knew about the sword, and it's a huge deal, apparently. Of course, it's a famous sword. It's Tatsuka no Tsurugi, used by the god Susanoo to defeat a massive 8-headed snake. The constellation starts rambling about the sword's history, linking it to ancient defeats. It's a setup, bro. Whoa, we get a glimpse of Yamada no Orochi, that 8-headed serpent, and it looks terrifying. The narration hits us with it. The constellation believes defeating fables relies on exploiting their past losses. The screen goes black, but we can feel the constellation's fury building, like a storm. Dokja doesn't back down. He's radiating power, ready to face this god. This is gonna be epic. No way, the constellation is straight up losing it, blood dripping as he screams at Dokja. He's unleashing his true voice, and the narration reveals Dokja activated a personal skill, the fourth wall. Bro, the full scale of Yamada no Orochi is revealed. 8 heads, massive coils, and dripping with red energy. Dokja's finally speaking to us, the readers, saying it looks like we barely talk, and then static. The constellation's furious, but Dokja doesn't even flinch, standing firm against this ancient god. Dokja is using the fourth wall skill, and it's a direct message to the readers. This is getting intense. Okay, so Dokja's straight up jumping into action, yelling jump as this massive, terrifying monster appears. This beast is huge, all jagged edges and darkness, and Dokja's leaping right at it with his sword raised. He swings, aiming for a critical hit, but the monster's defenses are insane, deflecting the blow. Dokja's moving fast, weaving around the monster's attacks, but it's relentless, tearing through everything. Our boy is getting pushed back, desperately trying to find an opening in this chaotic battle. But the monster unleashes a massive roar, sending a shockwave that throws Dokja flying. It's brutal. He crashes, and honestly, this dude looks wrecked, but he's still clinging to his sword, refusing to give up. The monster's about to finish him off when, no way, a blinding light appears, slicing through the darkness. Dokja's launching another attack, a desperate gamble, aiming to cut through the monster's defenses. Someone's yelling at Dokja to do something, questioning why he's just watching, like, bro, he's fighting for his life. Dokja's yelling, asking why this is happening, but Yumhyak's already exhausted and wants it over with. Someone's saying Yumhyak is tired, but it's not time to end it yet. Talk about bad timing. He grips his sword, knuckles white, bracing for another attack, but this monster is relentless. The monster roars, it's a terrifying sound, and this time it's aiming straight for Dokja. Dokja swings, a blinding blade meeting monstrous form, but the monster isn't going down easy. He's slicing and dicing, a whirlwind of steel, and the monster's starting to break apart, finally. But even as pieces fly, the core remains, and Dokja's pushing himself to the absolute limit. He's straining, sweat dripping, eyes squeezed shut. This fight is taking everything he has. Dokja's sword flashes, cutting through the last of the monster, but he looks utterly wrecked. And honestly, this dude is barely standing, completely drained, but he somehow did it. Dokja activates Tiger God Aura level 5. It's a massive power-up, and he's glowing like crazy. The monster roars, and it's a sound that shakes everything, but Dokja doesn't even flinch. He's launching a counterattack, a furious swing aiming to bisect the monster, no holding back now. Dokja grits his teeth, pushing through the pain, and the monster's scales start cracking under the force. The monster tries to swat him away, but Dokja's moving too fast, dodging the attack by a hair's breadth. He's slicing through the monster's hide, and chunks of it are flying everywhere. It's brutal, but effective. Dokja's blade connects, and a massive explosion of energy rips through the area. It's a full-on blast. The monster's getting ripped apart, pieces of it raining down, but it's still fighting to stay up. But wait, there's something flying through the air, a small purple shard heading straight for Dokja. Dokja barely manages to deflect the shard with his sword. That was a close one, no way he saw that coming. Dokja's still going, swinging his sword like a madman, and the monster finally collapses. It's a massive, earth-shattering fall. He stumbles back, exhausted, and Yumhyak is right there looking down on him. This dude is beat. Yumhyak's face is a mess, covered in blood, and he's screaming. It's terrifying, honestly. But then Yumhyak announces he's leaving now, and it's a total shift in energy. Suddenly, a monstrous red figure rises behind Yumhyak. It's huge and intimidating and straight up terrifying. The figure issues a command, retreat for now, and they're pulling back. Wait, what? The metallic training bands around Dokja deactivate, and a notification pops up. Finally, some help. Dokja smirks, declaring now just watch, and the confidence is back. Our boy is ready to rumble. He stomps forward, sending chunks of debris flying, and the monster reacts with a terrifying roar. The red figure lunges, claws extended, ready to attack. This is about to get wild. Dokja activates bookmark number 5, a skill that lasts 3 minutes. It's a limited time power-up. The system explains he's not strong enough to fully use the skill, but his understanding of the character helps. Apparently, this skill is for small people, and Dokja's physical traits match the character's, which is kinda weird. He adjusts the skill to his level and sparks fly as he grips his sword tighter. It's getting intense. Dokja unleashes the skill and his sword glows with incredible power. This is a whole new level of fighting. The monster attacks, but Dokja's movements are now impossibly fast. He's dodging everything. He's slicing and dicing, creating a whirlwind of attacks, and the monster's getting overwhelmed. It's a blur. The monster retaliates, smashing the ground and sending debris everywhere, but Dokja is already moving again. The floor cracks and breaks under the force of the battle. This fight is straight up demolishing everything. The red figure screams, but Dokja just keeps attacking. Our boy is relentless, and honestly, he looks amazing. The monster is reeling, but Dokja drops a bombshell. The size of your consciousness determines your worth. This skill allows Dokja to see the universe in the smallest things, and it's a little mind-bending, honestly. He explains the origin of everything is just a tiny speck. Talk about a philosophical fight. Get this, from that small speck comes greatness, and Dokja's channeling that power now. The light expands, creating this crazy spectacle, and Dokja is standing right in the middle of it. He's practically a beacon, radiating power, and the mountain around him is glowing blue. No way. The world is flooded with light, illuminating the landscape, and it's beautiful and terrifying at once. And then, just like that, the light begins to fade, revealing Dokja changed. This dude is evolving. The whole scene is bathed in blue, and Dokja is radiating with newfound power. Prepare for round 2. Dokja unleashes a massive sword attack, and it collides with the monster's power. The impact is insane. The monster, Constellation, is actually shocked by Dokja's swordsmanship. Talk about a surprise. Dokja's attack keeps pushing forward, forcing Constellation to defend, but the monster is still powerful. He's channeling all that universal energy, and Constellation is struggling to withstand the onslaught. Dokja's power explodes outward, creating a wave of energy that washes over everything. It's epic. The monster attempts to counter, but Dokja's attack is too strong. He's breaking through. The monster's defenses crumble, and Dokja lands a direct hit. This dude is relentless, I swear. Everything goes white as the attack connects, and the monster is sent reeling. It's a critical blow. Constellation tries to recover, but Dokja doesn't give him a chance. He's already pressing the attack again. The monster is overwhelmed, and it's clear Dokja has the upper hand. This fight is turning around fast. Okay, so things are spiraling. The little demon girl is freaking out, and it looks like someone messed with the scenario. Major interference. Straight up chaos erupts as guards start getting cut down. Blood everywhere. No way this is good. The Great Star, this massive dragon, is waking up, and it's not happy. Clearly offended someone dared challenge it. This dragon is huge, and it's cracking and groaning as it comes back to life. Everything's shaking. Someone is trying to fight it with a measuring sword. A measuring sword? What even is that? Oh no, it's Eugen. He's getting wrecked, blood pouring from his mouth. This dude is in trouble. The dragon's just flexing, casually destroying everything around it. Honestly, it's terrifying. It's unleashing a massive attack, cracks spreading everywhere, and the measuring sword is doing nothing. Eugen's getting absolutely demolished, but he's still defiant, screaming at this monstrous dragon. But the dragon isn't backing down, and it's clear it's not just angry, it's genuinely shocked someone dares defy it. Eugen's admitting he can't beat this thing, even with his electrification. It's just too much power. He says his current power level isn't enough, but then he's clearly about to do something reckless anyway. However, Eugen isn't giving up. He's powering up, ignoring his injuries and declaring this will be the dragon's biggest mistake. Whoa, a massive surge of energy explodes around him, electricity crackling with insane force. It's a total overload. He unleashes everything, a blinding blast of power colliding with the dragon's attack. It's an all-out clash of titans. Something's off. This isn't normal energy. It's another god interfering. No way. Someone's asking how another world god is allowed to mess with this scenario. Good question. Honestly, things are getting wild. The energy slams into the dragon and it's getting wrecked. Honestly, it's a beautiful, chaotic mess of blue light. And the power doesn't stop there. It keeps surging forward, straight toward another person. This dude just got hit with god-level energy, and honestly, he absolutely had it coming. Yujin's still blasting the dragon with everything he's got, but it's clearly not enough to take it down. He shouts at the dragon, telling it to stay out of the planet's affairs, which is bold considering the situation. Dragon's eyes narrow, and it's clear this dude is seriously annoyed by Yujin's defiance. Yujin unleashes another massive wave of power, and honestly, the energy is just beautiful. But the attack isn't aimed at the dragon this time, it's heading straight for someone else, a new target. This guy gets absolutely blasted with god-level energy, and honestly, he absolutely had it coming. The energy explodes, and the scene turns into a blinding chaos of light and destruction. Yujin's eyes are glowing intensely, and he's pushing himself to the absolute limit. This is insane. He's yelling at this other dude, screaming at him for being a monster from another world. A huge crash echoes, and we see Yujin still floating midair, completely spent but still standing. Dragon roars in pain, but it's not backing down, it's actually getting madder. Yujin unleashes another blast, and the dragon whips around, trying to swat him out of the sky. But the dragon's attack misses, and Yujin just keeps pouring on the power, screaming at the monster. The dragon's getting torn apart, literally, with cracks spreading across its body. It's brutal. This other dude, the one Yujin blasted, is shouting you, like he can't believe what just happened. Yujin keeps firing, and the dragon is crumbling, but it's still trying to fight back with lightning. He's yelling about protecting the world, and the dragon's scales are shattering with every hit. The dragon is collapsing, and Yujin is clearly exhausted, but he's still pushing through it. Yujin's eyes are glowing like crazy, and he unleashes a final, massive attack. It's overwhelming. The dragon finally falls, but Yujin collapses too. Our boy is completely drained, but he did it. Yujin's completely wrecked, but the dragon's not done. It's begging him to end it. He's floating in the air, exhausted, and this dragon is straight up asking to be put out of its misery. But Yujin refuses, yelling that he won't grant its wish. No way is he letting it rest. The dragon's eyes snap open, revealing a terrifying, fiery red, and it's clearly not happy. This dude is pleading, begging for the stars to be put to rest, but Yujin's not listening. Yujin's staring it down, refusing to let up, and the tension is insane right now. Dragon is coiling around Yujin, trying to crush him, but our boy is holding strong. He's bracing himself, grit his teeth, and the dragon's grip tightens. It's brutal. Yujin pushes back with everything he's got, unleashing a burst of power and blasting free. He's launching himself forward, determined to finish this, and honestly, this is epic. Yujin's pushing through, unleashing another blast. It's like he's defying fate itself. The dragon retaliates with a massive attack, but Yujin intercepts, taking the full force head-on. He's cracking under the pressure, his body breaking apart, but his will is unwavering, bro. Yujin's body is completely fractured, but he's still fighting, refusing to fall. This is insane. The dragon is enraged, lashing out, and Yujin is barely holding on, but he won't break. Suddenly, the system announces Yujin accomplished an astonishing achievement. What does that mean? He's collapsing, completely exhausted, but the system declares he's the first to hunt in this scenario. But here's the kicker, the system can't grade this fight, claiming Yujin summoned something beyond its comprehension. This dude just broke the game, straight up shattered the system's ability to assess the situation. Yujin is down but not out, and the dragon is reeling. This fight is far from over, trust me. Yujin stands amidst a massacre. Everyone is down, but the system announces he's cleared the scenario. But hold up, the system says he completed an impossible scenario, and the Tokyo Dome is about to get involved. A mysterious figure appears, surrounded by blue screens, and declares, "None of you will ever understand." Yujin is visibly shaken, darkness swirling around him, like he's absorbing something awful. He's reeling, barely able to stand, and it's clear this victory came at a massive cost. The system chimes in, they've reached the starting line, and the sixth scenario is officially over. A bright sparkle appears, and then nothing. It's eerily quiet, like the calm before another storm. Yujin is completely drained, and the weight of what just happened is crushing him. Our boy is broken, and honestly, it's heartbreaking to watch him struggle with this. The sparkle intensifies, something new is beginning, and no way are we prepared for it. Yujin walks forward, determined to reach the ending he wants, no matter the cost. But this isn't about winning anymore, it's about control, and he's making it clear who's calling the shots. Okay, so our boy Kim just finished a huge battle and gets 200,000 coins for his effort, nice. The scene shifts to total chaos, a city in ruins, and it's straight up a massacre. Bodies are everywhere, it's grim. This dude, Dokja Kim, is holding a glowing green shard and asks if our guy is the Kim Michio talked about. Kazuki Takashi shows up looking surprised and asks if our boy knows him. The tension is building fast. Turns out our boy had the hidden scenario for Tatsuka no Tsurugi, and Takashi is shocked, thinking Youngyoke told him. Takashi accuses Youngyoke of spilling the beans, but our boy isn't giving anything away, staying totally silent. Our boy looks at the devastation and questions if anyone actually solved anything here. It's a heavy moment. Takashi calls out Mr. Kim, clearly recognizing who our boy is, and it's super ominous. But wait, apparently Youngyoke did tell our boy about the scenario, and Takashi is losing it. Kim just steers back, and honestly, he looks like he's ready for whatever Takashi throws at him. Takashi's all like, "I'm sorry about Izumi," but our boy just stares him down, unimpressed. He straight up admits he killed Izumi, Takashi's hero, and the tension is thick, you guys. Takashi tries to brush it off, saying they'll meet in battle again someday, but our boy isn't hearing it. This dude is so confident, he's practically daring Takashi to make a move right now. But wait, our boy reveals he knows Takashi's real name, and it's a total shock to everyone. He's got a flashback to being beaten and broken, covered in blood, and it's rough to watch. Our boy vows to become stronger, promising to surpass Takashi when they meet again. Total redemption arc vibes. He's sobbing, broken, but still defiant. This dude is seriously resilient, no way. Takashi looks down on him, and honestly, it's a power play that sends chills down your spine. Our boy is left completely devastated, but you know he's gonna use this pain to fuel his comeback. Okay, so a constellation named Snake Cutter is suddenly interested in Michio Shoji, which is weird, right? Everyone's buzzing about it, wondering if Snake Cutter will back Shoji in this round. The stakes are getting higher. Turns out Snake Cutter is the original owner of Tatsuka no Tsurugi, and it's connected to Izumi's supporting constellation, Suzuno. This dude Shoji is taking a beating, but he's still standing and straight up drinking his own blood. He's rambling about how he'll become stronger, promising to surpass Takashi, and honestly, it's a powerful moment. Takashi just looks down on him all smug, but our boy refuses to break. He's so resilient, no way. The other players are starting to talk, saying as long as Shoji and Suzuno are there, the Tokyo Dome will be safe. But wait, Snake Cutter has revealed its modifier, and it's a total game changer for Shoji. Shoji is completely wrecked, lying there bleeding, but someone is asking what even happened to him. He just said a few words, and now everyone is confused. This dude is a total wild card, I swear. Takashi is losing it, straight up yelling at someone for not following his orders. This dude is a control freak. He's demanding to know why they didn't do as he said, and it's clear this isn't just a simple mistake. Someone is begging for help from Mr. Dokja, but he completely ignores them, cold-blooded, honestly. Dokja walks right past, barely glancing at the desperate pleas, and then he just pats this blonde guy on the head. He tells the blonde he did a great job despite whatever just happened, then pulls him into a full-on hug. The hug is tight and the blonde looks stunned. It's a weirdly sweet moment amidst all the chaos. But a shadowy figure is watching them, and two other kids are arguing over who Dokja likes more. So messy. Dokja scowls, and those shadows are getting closer. He's clearly aware of the tension brewing. An older man approaches, and Dokja is giving him the side eye. Something's about to go down. I can feel it. The man bows to Dokja and the kids, and everyone is whispering about how close they've become. This is a power move. Dokja hears someone mention a banquet and instantly looks suspicious. He's side-eyeing everyone, bro. The group realizes this banquet is more like a party, and it's happening in this creepy, underground space. We get a wide shot of this massive cavern, and honestly, it looks like a dungeon, super ominous. The scene cuts to a feast, and it's loaded with food, meat, cheese, bread, everything you can imagine. A notification pops up. There are only a few days left in this scenario. The pressure is on. Another notification hits. The position of King of Catastrophes is vacant, so someone's about to get a promotion. Everyone is chowing down, but it's clear this isn't a normal party. Something's definitely off. Then a notification announces the Catastrophes have forfeited the scenario, which means it's ending early. Someone excitedly explains they brought all the alcohol from storage, just like Dokja asked. This dude is prepared. This whole scene feels like a trap, but our boy Dokja is playing it cool. He always does. Dokja explains the alcohol in Peace Land is weak, so he's hoarding it to brew something stronger. He's got a plan. He dashes off like a maniac and a notification pops up. The snake cutter constellation wants his brewing recipe, no way. The scene cuts to a huge gathering and Dokja's pouring booze into this massive barrel. It's a ritual, I swear. But wait, he's not just adding alcohol, he's tossing in pieces he got from defeating the Yamato Orochi. That's intense. The liquid in the barrel starts glowing and we get another notification. The 8th head and 7th tail of the sovereign of 8 heads are inside. What? Someone recognizes the hidden piece he's adding and another guy is straight up staring Dokja down. This is getting spicy. The dude with the sword is giving Dokja a serious look and honestly, I'm starting to feel the tension build. Dokja's brewing something seriously powerful and this whole scene feels like a prelude to chaos. Brace yourselves. The guy with the sword asks if Dokja knows about the hidden piece. It seems like it's a big deal and our boy is keeping secrets. We get a close-up of the sword hilt and it's glowing. Dokja is about to unleash something huge. I just know it. Okay, so things are getting wild. The system is straight up telling us parts of the fable are messed up because it wasn't told right. And then BAM, the fable starts manifesting as this insane glowing energy. It's like a weapon is forming, no way. The fable is revealed as Amano Murakumo no Tsurugi, and it appears right in the middle of this banquet hall. Everyone's just chilling, eating and drinking, totally oblivious to the divine sword about to drop into their lives. But the sword isn't just appearing, it's forming from golden liquid, dripping everywhere. It looks kinda gross, honestly. The system announces it. The heavenly sword of gathering clouds has arrived. This thing is a constellation artifact, apparently. We get a flashback and the legend says this sword came to be when they chopped off the tail of the drunk Yamato no Orochi. What? This dude, Kim Dokja, is trying to figure out a workaround. He's thinking he can just dunk the sword in liquor to fix it. Seriously. He grabs the sword claiming it's his, like he can just solve ancient fable damage with booze and a firm grip, bro. He's holding onto it tight like it's the last piece of chicken, but honestly, I have a bad feeling about this. Okay, so Kim Dokja's got the sword and is looking at it all smug, like he's solved everything. But wait, the sword starts glowing even brighter and golden liquid is bubbling around it. It's kinda terrifying, honestly. He's questioning what's happening, but before he can finish, the system drops a bomb. There are 5 Amano Murakumo no Tsurugi. Turns out the sword he's holding isn't the main one from the story. It's one of 4 other swords only mentioned in passing. The system explains each sword has a name, and it's a lot, but basically, this isn't the legendary blade everyone knows. Then another figure appears, it's another Kim Dokja, and he's straight up grabbing for the sword. Our boy is shocked, yelling what, and trying to hold on, but this other version is super aggressive. This alternate Dokja claims the sword for himself, saying our boy is fine without it, rude. He's practically ripping the sword out of our boy's hands, and honestly, this dude is acting way too confident. So it seems like there's more than one of everything, and now there's a sword-grabbing showdown. This is escalating quickly. Our boy confidently declares he fears nothing with the dragon-slaying sword in hand. Talk about a power move. Suddenly, someone asks if they're fighting over the sword and if they can have a sip of it. What is happening? Turns out everyone thinks it's a drink, and someone points out our Dokja is a minor. Major awkwardness. Dokja tries to save face, offering everyone a taste of the Constellation fermented brew, claiming it boosts stats. He takes a gulp and his face drops. No way, this dude is not enjoying this drink. Everyone else, though, they're loving it, calling it divine and raving about the taste. Dokja is looking seriously concerned, while everyone else is busy enjoying the weird Constellation juice. He's staring at someone and they're clearly up to no good. It's a tense standoff. This other figure is mixing something at a bar and it looks suspicious. What's he brewing up? Dokja's getting a bad vibe and honestly so are we. Something's about to go down, you can feel it. Someone asks if Dokja's refusing the food because he thinks it's poisoned, but our boy straight up says it's because it doesn't taste good. He challenges the cook, demanding to see how good their cooking really is, and immediately shoves a skewer into another guy's mouth. Cook starts slicing up more skewers, and everyone is watching with bated breath. This is getting intense. The guy forced to eat the skewer looks absolutely horrified, but he's trying not to show it. The cook asks if it's delicious, and the guy manages a weak yes while Dokja stares him down. Everyone's thinking Dokja is a regressor who knows things, but they can't figure out how he's such a good cook. Suddenly, the cook pulls out a violin and starts playing, and honestly, it's a super dramatic moment. This is a flashback. We see the cook as a young man, practicing the violin with intense focus. The violin playing is incredible, and the cook is clearly a prodigy, but it's a sad memory. However, the flashback ends and the cook is back to offering Dokja the skewers. He's definitely hiding something. Dokja, looking all mysterious, walks away from the cook and heads straight for a massive door. Talk about a power move. Inside, a crowd of people are gathered, looking totally distraught and honestly a little beat up. One guy's got bandages all over his head and another is nursing an injured arm. This is rough, bro. The crowd parts as Dokja walks through and they all start crying. No way, this is getting emotional. Suddenly, a man on the rooftop is revealed, and he's playing that violin again, but this time it's way more intense. We get another flashback showing the violinist as a child, practicing relentlessly despite being scolded. This dude is dedicated. But the flashback cuts short and we're back with Dokja approaching the open doorway. Something big is about to happen. Dokja steps through the doorway and a blinding light washes over him. What is this place? The crowd continues to sob uncontrollably and someone grabs Dokja's coat. They clearly need his help. Dokja stands silhouetted against the bright light, looking determined. Our boy is about to take charge, you just know it. Okay, so Dokja's got a woman with fiery red hair cornered. She's definitely playing a role in all this. She's all smiles and asks if anyone imagined a scene like this, and Dokja, he straight up confirms it. She's feeling confident, but Dokja's expression is unreadable. Something's off with her, I swear. The crowd is asking where another person, Sayoung, is. She's gone missing, apparently. Someone explains Sayoung took off after hearing about this world, saying she had somewhere to be. Suspicious. Dokja is questioning everything, and for good reason. This whole situation is a mess. The violinist from earlier appears, and he's looking really unhappy, clutching his instrument. He asks Dokja how he feels now, but Dokja can't find the words. It's a heavy moment, honestly. The violinist is clearly struggling with something, and his face shows it. This dude's got baggage. Dokja's back to questioning the red-haired woman, and she's giving him that look. The tension is real. Dokja's thinking about how suddenly this whole situation came to mind. He's connecting dots, and it's intense. He wonders if there's someone else who knows about all this, but straight up admits they'd never reveal themselves. We cut to a bustling kitchen scene, lots of shadowy figures prepping food. It's a bit ominous, honestly. The red-haired woman casually drops that she's jealous of whoever gets to read the story Dokja knows. Talk about a power move. Dokja replies with a smooth line about how he's jealous of the writer of that story. He's playing along, but it's clear he's thinking 10 steps ahead. She says she's headed somewhere and asks if he's coming, and Dokja's reaction is priceless, pure skepticism. The woman suddenly asks if he's sorry, even if someone like her exists. She's testing him, pushing his buttons. She says oh, and Dokja realizes she already knew he'd be here. No way, she's been setting this up all along. Okay, so things are intense right now. We find out this woman, Kim, Dokja's artist, is straight up the creator of Peaceland. She's a comic artist, a rare one, and her skills are kendo and using a pen as a sword. No way. We learn she's supporting Constellation, master of the night in Ikai, which is a big deal and explains a lot. She's got some serious skills listed, leveling up pen as the sword to level 4, but something feels off, doesn't it? The artist and the black-coated guy are face to face, and the tension is thick. They're talking about her comics, supposedly. But here's the kicker, she realizes the world has completely left her hands, like she's lost control of everything. Then bam, lightning strikes and the black-coated dude is clearly reeling, clutching his head in pain. He shouts out in pain, and it's clear whatever she's doing is seriously hurting him, bro. The lightning intensifies, and honestly, this dude had it coming, messing with an artist this powerful. Okay, so it turns out this whole situation, The sentence, "The castle," was originally in a different web novel. We see the artist playing the violin, and these leaf-like things are floating everywhere. It's kinda beautiful but ominous. Three guys are chatting, probably about the chaos, but it feels like a breather before something huge happens. Suddenly, a blue screen appears and zaps the artist with lightning, straight up shocking, no pun intended. She just says, "Oh, I see," as if she's figured everything out, which is seriously unsettling, honestly. We get a close-up of Asuka Ren, the artist, and the blue energy is reflecting in his eyes. It's intense. His character profile pops up, comic artist, kendo master, and a whole bunch of skills. This guy is loaded. But then everything goes black and a simple message appears. Came to an end. What? The final panel shows the castle at night with a scroll that reads the end. Is this really over? So the story isn't just done, it's become independent of its writer, which is kinda terrifying, right? This dude asks where these stories go when they finish, and honestly, that's the question of the hour. A blue screen reveals that all beings on Peaceland now sense his existence, and they're starting to write a legend about him. But then we cut to Asuka Ren looking super distraught, and it's clear something's wrong. He's clutching his arm, and you can tell he's really upset about something. He says he enjoyed reading it, but then adds he's most certain of something. It's so cryptic. Asuka Ren's face breaks into this creepy smile, and he admits it's still unclear who wrote TWSA and what they want. However, he does think he knows one thing, and the tension is building like crazy. Staring off into the distance, and we're left hanging with no clue what he's thinking. Our boy is back looking determined, and it's a cliffhanger ending. What's he gonna do? Okay, so Asuka Ren figures out the author sent him the novel file before the world ended. No way. Then he's rummaging around and it seems like he's found something, and it's a vial of glowing purple liquid. He decides he should fulfill a wish, and it's a seriously ominous statement, honestly. A blue screen pops up identifying the liquid as ancient serpent's celestial blood. Sounds pleasant. He's pouring this crazy stuff into a cup of what looks like stew, and it's definitely not a healthy snack. Meanwhile, this other guy, Han Seojun, is telling Kim Namwoon he wants him to guard him while he sleeps. Seojun nods, looking concerned, and we're starting to suspect something bad is about to happen. Seojun just casually leaves Namwoon, saying it's fine, but it's super sus, right? Now, Asuka Ren is offering the stew to someone, and it's looking like a power move for sure. He's drinking the concoction, and this dude is straight up risking it all. What's going on? A message pops up. He drank alcohol made from an ancient serpent's blood. What? Turns out this is a hidden piece of the puzzle, something even the Yoonhyuk of the third round didn't know about. It's a ritual that requires this serpent blood alcohol to work, and our boy is right in the middle of it. He's suddenly overwhelmed, clutching his head, and everything's going red. This is intense. A blue screen announces he's slain a dragon, but things are clearly not going according to plan. He's collapsing, surrounded by these creepy, swirling red tendrils. It's like a nightmare unfolding. He's giving up his king of no-killing attribute, saying if this hadn't existed, he wouldn't have. No way. Preparation is complete, and he's wheezing, clearly exhausted. This ritual is taking a toll. But it's the other attribute that might be a problem, and he's staring at a weird, dark stone. The stone reads God of Alcohol and Ecstasy, and honestly, that's a super unsettling combination. Okay, so he's losing contact with Dionysus and Persephone. Something's seriously wrong, and he knows it. He notices blood on his hand, and it looks like he's been writing on a stone wall with it. The message says Father of the Night, and honestly, that's a super ominous title. He's finishing the message, it reads rich, but before he can finish, everything goes haywire. Suddenly, a figure bursts toward him with glowing blue energy. Talk about a surprise attack. Our boy is thrown back, and it's a full-on assault, but he's trying to figure out what's happening. This dude is unleashing a massive wave of energy, and it's straight up overwhelming, no time to react. Everything fades to black, and we're left with this intense, shadowy figure. What a cliffhanger. He lands in the underworld, relieved he didn't end up in Tartarus again. That place sounds awful. This dude tries to report to the queen that his labor is done, but she straight up tells him he can't enter the palace. She refuses to say why he's blocked, just telling him to go back. Talk about a shady response. He demands an explanation, but the cloaked figure just stares him down, a single tear rolling down his face. The figure's face cracks into a terrifying grin, revealing rows and rows of sharp teeth. No way, this is getting intense. He asks what the figure is trying to pull and realizes the judges are strong but nothing compared to Persephone. However, seeing how adamant the judges are, he's starting to suspect something big is going down. The figure roars, and honestly, it's a terrifying sound. Our boy is definitely in trouble. But it's the figure's glare that's the scariest, pure, unadulterated rage radiating from those eyes. He's realizing this is way more than just a simple denial of entry, and something's seriously wrong. Okay, so Hades and Persephone are both missing, and our boy immediately knows something is seriously wrong. They don't just leave the palace. He grills the cloaked figure about messages from them, but this dude refuses to spill anything, playing coy like it's a game. The figure is straight up rummaging through his things, and it's clear he's looking for something specific. What is he after? But wait, the figure's hand is clutching at his chest like he's hiding something, and honestly, it looks painful. However, that pain quickly turns to a terrifying grin, and you just know this is bad news for our boy. This is escalating fast. Okay, so things are intense. Our boy Dokja is channeling some serious energy like a whole glowing orb of power. He's trying to stabilize this crazy power source, but it's unstable, and the little demon is watching him with wide eyes. Dokja's going for it, pushing his limits. The ground is cracking and energy is surging everywhere. No way. But hold up, this power is actually trying to create something. A massive egg is forming, crackling with energy. Dokja's freaking out, realizing he shouldn't have even attempted this, but it's too late now, honestly. The egg starts to hatch, and he carefully catches a glowing sphere that emerges. It's super fragile looking. He holds the sphere gently, and it seems to be alive. The little demon is staring at it, totally shocked. The sphere plops into his hand, and the egg shatters completely. It's like a birth, but so much weirder. The sphere begins to glow brighter, and the demon looks absolutely stunned by what's happening right before them. No way, Dokja just conceived a child. The demon straight up says it, and it's a total mind blow. Dokja's back in the dungeon, and Namwoon is still working on that giant thing. Seriously, this dude never stops. He's building crates and hauling supplies while everyone else is basically enslaved. It's rough. Suddenly, Lee Jihai and Kim Namwoon show up, and Jihai immediately asks if Dokja died again. She's so blunt. Dokja insists he's not dead, and Jihai demands he listen carefully, because something's up. She points to the colossal structure Namwoon is constructing. It's some kind of mechanical monstrosity. A creepy masked figure appears, prepping something with a syringe, and honestly, that's a huge red flag. Jihai reveals she only tipped off Namwoon a little, believing he could actually change things, but now she's worried. She's looking forward to Gigantomachia, a battle of titans, and it sounds absolutely terrifying. But wait, the sphere Dokja conceived is reacting to the monstrous build. It's getting brighter, and things are about to pop off. The sphere glows, and Dokja realizes this creation is connected to Gigantomachia. This is BAD, bro. An incarnation shows up and acknowledges Dokja's unique methods of completing the labors, and it's kinda creepy. Apparently, Constellations are watching Dokja now, but not all of them are happy with what he's been up to. Lee Jihai warns Dokja to prepare himself. Something big is coming, and it sounds serious, bro. Dokja scans the area and realizes the Constellations are still observing. They haven't left yet. Dokja says he doesn't care about ruining anyone's story. He's focused on protecting what he's built up. He starts walking toward a blinding light, determined to face whatever's next, and honestly, that takes guts. Dokja's trapped, and he realizes he walked right into a setup. This is a total nightmare. He's being held in some kind of prison, and the masked figure from before is right there, smirking. This dude thought he could outsmart everyone, but he just got played, and things are about to get real. Someone asks what's going on, but another guy's already freaking out about a new player joining the game. He's convinced this additional participant changes everything, and honestly, he looks terrified. They don't know the details, but someone starts directing them toward a massive building. It's a setup, you can feel it. They're led down a long hallway, and the scene quickly turns gruesome, blood everywhere. Our boy finds Minseob Byung lying in a pool of blood, and it's straight up horrifying. This is bad, really bad. Dokja demands to know what happened, but Minseob just manages a weak groan. So much for answers. Minseob, barely clinging to life, desperately tells Dokja not to come back. What does that even mean? He gasps for air, whispering, "Come back," and the scene is just intense, bro. Dokja's reeling, totally shocked by what he's seeing. This dude is in serious trouble, and it's happening fast. No way. Minseob's clutching at Dokja, pleading him to leave, and it's clear something terrible is about to go down. Everyone's asking what happened to Minseob, but Ren points out something huge. Something similar went down in Japan too. They quickly realize Minseob might have been ambushed during the portal crossing, and things get tense. Someone wonders if the people left behind are fighting amongst themselves, and it's a seriously good question. They bring up that Korea doesn't have an absolute throne, a source of ultimate power, which is key. But here's the kicker: without that throne, power struggles are guaranteed to erupt between different factions. They list off names: Sangha, Huiwen, even Dokja's mother, meaning everyone's a potential player in this mess. Dokja straight up says nothing is certain until they see it for themselves, and honestly, he's got a point. The scene cuts back to the ruined building, emphasizing just how bad things are getting. They realize they're still early in the chaos, meaning it's only going to get worse from here. Dokja's determined to find answers, and you know this dude won't stop until he gets them. Dokja and the others are rushing towards the chaos, and honestly, it feels like a bad idea. They confirm their suspicions. Minseob was ambushed, and it's not looking good for him. A massive reward screen pops up, listing insane loot like swords and bracelets, but Dokja's focused on something else. He realizes the person standing next to him isn't Dokja or Dojja. This dude is a total mystery. Suddenly, a blinding blue light erupts and everyone's caught in its energy. It's seriously intense. The people of Peace Land are cheering, hailing them as heroes, but Dokja's already thinking about what comes next. The light fades and they're pulled into somewhere, but it's clear this isn't a normal warp. Systems dropping knowledge bombs. Certain skills are practically impossible to learn, even at high levels. It's a grim reminder: some things are just out of reach, and the situation is way more complicated than they thought. Okay, so things are intense. Our boy Dokja gets teleported somewhere new, surrounded by this crazy blue energy. He starts running, dodging these energy blasts, but it's like the world is glitching around him, straight up chaotic. Suddenly, he's jolted backwards, yelling, "Ha!" This power is seriously messing with him. He's sprinting now, taking quick steps, trying to escape whatever's happening, but it's gaining on him. Ro is clearly terrified, sweat dripping down his face, realizing he's in deep trouble. This is not a drill. He stops, finally getting his bearings, and realizes this must be Seoul, but something is way off. The city is distorted, glowing with that same blue energy, and his shadow is all messed up. No way this is normal. Takes another step and the energy flares up around his leg. This power is linked to him somehow. Dokja looks determined but also scared, bracing himself for whatever comes next. He knows this story, but can he change it? Dokja unleashes a crazy attack. It's like a burst of blue energy, and the damage is huge. The energy explodes outward, creating these glowing orbs, and the numbers 7005 flash everywhere. It's a score or something. Boom, the explosion rips through everything, and Dokja's standing right in the middle of it, looking totally unfazed. Suddenly, people are shouting it's the Supreme King. They recognize him, but they're clearly scared. Someone yells to open fire, and everyone starts scrambling, clearly panicking about Dokja's arrival. They're arguing about whether to attack Dokja or this king of no killing. It's a total mess. Someone insists Dokja can't actually kill anyone because there's some kind of penalty, so they are encouraging everyone to go all out. They reveal he can revive himself with enough points, so they're screaming to finish him off before he gets another chance. Dokja starts walking forward, ignoring the chaos, and everyone's staring at him. He's totally in control. He's walking straight towards them, looking completely unbothered, while a bunch of armed people surround him. This is gonna be good. Dokja demands to know where they heard about him, bros straight up calling them out. Someone with a sword shouts what? He's totally confused by Dokja's question, which is hilarious. Dokja unleashes another blast of energy, and it hits both guys. No way, it's a double kill. The energy slices through them, and honestly, this dude had it coming, and so did his friend. People are freaking out, yelling that Dokja killed them. They thought he was the king of no killing. They're realizing Dokja isn't playing around, and it's a total shock. The tables have turned fast. Someone screams in terror as Dokja moves towards the others. This dude is a menace. Dokja's eyes glow with power and sparks fly around him. He's channeling something serious. He attacks again, energy blades flying everywhere. It's a total massacre and it's intense. Another guy screams in pain as he's cut down. Dokja's not holding back and it's brutal. Dokja's still slicing through enemies. They're dropping like flies and it's a total bloodbath. Someone yells run for it and everyone panics, scrambling to escape. Smart move, honestly. But Dokja's already moving faster, closing the distance with inhuman speed. No one is getting away. He intercepts a fleeing guy and disarms him instantly, then drops a brutal line, "You're too slow." Another dude tries to act tough, saying the Supreme King wouldn't interfere. Dokja doesn't even bother responding. This other guy spouts some nonsense, but Dokja cuts him off mid-sentence. No time for explanations. The guy tries to scramble away, puffing and panting, but Dokja's already right there. It's over fast. Dokja's closing in and this dude is absolutely terrified. You can see the sweat dripping off his face. He tries to dash, but Dokja's way faster and he's about to get hit. No escape. Dokja's eyes narrow and the guy lets out a scream. This is gonna be messy for sure. Dokja shouts about liberating humanity from these scenarios. Talk about a dramatic entrance. He swings his sword and someone's getting sliced up. It's a whirlwind of steel and desperation. This guy's shocked, yelling what? Just as the blade connects, no time to process things. Flash, the sword finds its mark and it's a clean cut. This is seriously intense. Dokja's already moving on, asking why the guy was just staring like an idiot. Zero patience. Another enemy tries to get a hit in, but Dokja deflects it easily. Our boy is untouchable right now. He counters with a brutal strike and blood splatters everywhere. It's a complete massacre. Dokja's relentless, slicing through another opponent with terrifying speed, and honestly, this dude had it coming. More blood sprays, coating everything in red. It's a gruesome scene, but Dokja doesn't even flinch. Someone gasps in horror as they witness the carnage. It's a bloodbath, and it's clear Dokja means business. Dokja's laying down some serious truth. Humans rarely show loyalty, especially with all this scenario mess. He calls out this guy for running off while Dokja's handling things and straight up asks if he wants to be next. This dude tries to dash away, but Dokja's already moving, and it's a full-on chase scene. He corners the guy, demanding to know why he's following him. Is this dude planning something? Dokja remembers saying something similar before, but decides to forget it. No way he's opening that can of worms. Okay, so things are intense. Our boy Dokja gets yanked into a new scenario, straight up teleported midair. He lands in what looks like Seoul, but it's all glitched out and digital, and a message pops up. A seventh main scenario is starting. He's falling through this fractured cityscape with other people getting dropped in too. It's total chaos. The system announces the scenario is happening in Seoul Dome, and honestly, it sounds like a death trap. Two guys in suits are watching everything unfold, and they're casually chatting about how new players are arriving. But here's the kicker, scenarios are super dangerous. A lot of people die, and the management center just keeps throwing people in. Dokja's still plummeting, but he's thinking about the implications. This is a serious situation, and survival is gonna be rough. Someone on the ground is gearing up with a knife and another with a bat, preparing for a fight, which is not a good sign. A powerful figure, the leader of the Salvation Church, is convinced the newly summoned people don't stand a chance against seasoned incarnations. She knows the Supreme King is powerful and is already plotting something, which is never good news for anyone. This dude, the Salvation Church leader, is straight up terrifying. She says these newly summoned people are like sheep. Suddenly, a bunch of people are getting blasted by golden energy, and it's not a friendly welcome. Two creepy horned figures appear amidst the chaos. They are explaining the rules of this messed up scenario. They say everyone needs to find a group to protect them until they become a powerful, upstanding incarnation. One of the summoned people, a guy in a suit, isn't having it. He calls their explanation insulting. The suit guy demands to know what they are implying, and another voice cuts in, saying there are prophets outside the dome. Apparently, info is leaking because of incarnations with the internet skill. No way the system likes that. A woman in an orange beanie believes most people came prepared, knowing what's up. Two guys are convinced they need to join the Supreme King's group. Smart move, honestly. But a priest and his follower are spreading doom and gloom, claiming anyone who joins the Supreme King is doomed. Okay, so these three guys are arguing about who's the best king to join, Supreme King, King of Beauty, or someone else. One of them drops a bomb. There's a king of no killing who's apparently the real deal, and the other kings are working for him. Rumor has it this king of no killing has a whole truckload of admirers. Talk about a power move. They're desperately trying to figure out this king's name, but nobody knows it. Seriously, how do you find someone without a name? Someone says to just look for the ugliest king with a blurry face. What even is that criteria? A different guy is ranting about how he destroyed the absolute throne for these kings and isn't happy about it. He's muttering about how this is what he gets, but then realizes something. The situation is way different than he thought. Back to the beanie guy and the suit guy, and it looks like they're listening to the chatter about this mysterious king. These guys are all whispering and gossiping, trying to piece together what's going on with this king of no killing. And honestly, the suit guy looks completely speechless. I think he's starting to understand the scale of this mess. Okay, so the beanie guy knows one of these kings. Apparently, he's seen his face before. The priestess straight up yells they need to run, claiming everyone's been manipulated by some higher power. But then the floor starts shaking, and some kind of massive, ornate structure begins rising from below. It's the Salvation Church, and it's huge, like seriously intimidating and clearly not friendly. The priestess is losing it, screaming about them taking their souls. This is getting intense. This giant decorated thing emerges from the church and it's stomping around, crushing everything. People are getting flattened, bro, just swept away by this elaborate golden monstrosity. The priestess is freaking out, realizing exactly who is behind all this. It's the Salvation Church. And honestly, her face is terrifying, like she knows something truly awful is about to happen. The suit guy asks if they know who's responsible, and the beanie guy confirms he recognizes one of them. Okay, so the suit guy is laying down some serious logic. The Salvation Church's beliefs aren't that weird on the surface. They're all about living in the moment, not worrying about the past or future, which honestly sounds kinda chill. But hold up, apparently the church wasn't supposed to show up this early in the story, and this dude is realizing something's off. The church is straight up inviting all the young incarnations to join them, promising to free them from the scenarios. Sketchy much. The priestess is screaming about liberation, and it's all looking super ominous, like a gilded trap. The suit guy is connecting the dots. Someone is intentionally messing with the story to create a different outcome. No way. And this dude is convinced whoever's doing it is incredibly powerful. He's getting a bad feeling, and we're right there with him. The suit guy is starting to sweat, and a drop of water falls from his chin. This is getting intense. The church is doubling down on its offer. They'll give the incarnations freedom from being puppets, and it's unsettling. The whole situation feels stiff, like a carefully constructed lie, and I think everyone's starting to see through it. Okay, so the golden headband guy straight up asks what it means to be strong, and it's a loaded question. The beanie guy thinks it's about skills or powerful items, the usual honestly, but the headband dude isn't having it. Suddenly, golden energy starts radiating from the headband, and it's intense, like a whole constellation is swirling around them. This energy is everywhere, and it's clearly not normal, but the beanie guy is getting blasted by it. He cries out in pain, and the system announces the prisoner of the golden headband is angry. This is escalating fast. The headband guy declares everything they see is an illusion, and honestly, it's a wild claim. The suit guy demands to know what he's talking about, asking if they can become stronger by joining them or not. But the headband guy shuts him down, saying none of that matters at all. This dude is playing a different game. The suit guy looks totally defeated, and the beanie guy is still reeling from whatever just happened. It's a mess. The whole scene is just unnerving, like the church isn't offering power, but a complete rewriting of reality. Okay, so this headband dude drops a bomb. He knows the leader of the Salvation Church, and he's not impressed. He straight up calls the incarnations pitiful prisoners of time, like they are all pawns in someone else's game, and it's cold.